World drowning in noise. What is truth? Confusion is weaponized. Doubt is a currency. Ancient heresies, repackaged for a new generation, spread in an instant. The foundations of the Christian faith are challenged every single day. This is the front line. This is Nobody Apologetics. We are not a sanctuary from the questions. We are the arena where they are met. Welcome to the plot. We do two things here. First, we defend. This is the gauntlet. We don't believe in echo chambers. We don't hide from hard conversations. We run towards the challenge. You think that's wrong? You believe you have the argument that dismantles it? Good. We've been waiting for you. Right now, the guest request line is open. If you're a skeptic, a member of another faith, or a Christian who simply disagrees, we are challenging you to speak. Get in the queue. Prepare your argument. We will see you in the arena, live. But defending is only half the mission. After the challenge comes the armory. After the debate comes the deep dive. This is where we build. For the next several hours, we will go beyond the sound bites. We will open the scriptures. We will read the saints. We will explore the deep history, philosophy, and theology of the Orthodox faith together. This is not for the faint of heart. This is where we equip the one body, where we turn doubt into understanding, and understanding into unshakable confidence. The gauntlet is thrown. The study is prepared. The show starts now. One body. Truth needs defenders.
Yo, 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 yo. Y'all already know what's up. Go get your little dancey dance.
Nobody, 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 nobody.
Yo, 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 what's up? Welcome to the Shizzy. It's Nobody Live Show. I'm your host, Nobody. And usually we do squabbles and studies. But today we're going to be doing a live debate reaction. We are going to be reacting to the debate between Libiano and Inspiring Philosophy on Muhammad and the Bible. That was apparently a really, really good, entertaining debate. I haven't seen it yet. I want to experience that with y'all. You feel me? That's what this live is going to be for today. Before we get into it, though, we got to say what's up to the peoples. What's going on, guys, on YouTube? What's up to the fam on YouTube? What's going on? TikTok fam. Let me see. Anomaly, what up? Gabe, what up? Manny, what up? Bloop. New face, what up, though? Joshua, what up? Meech, what up? Morgan, what up? Hills and Valleys, what up? Shepherd Close, what up? Key Pro, what up? Sog, what up? Solo, what's good? What's good? We're gonna be reacting to Libiano versus Inspiring Philosophy. That is gonna be our live today. We have been switched to weekends lives. The topic is Muhammad in the Bible. We've been switching. We're gonna be switching our schedule to have a more consistent schedule by going live on the weekends. That seems like that's going to be the most feasible schedule for me, so I can actually like post that and like have that on display so that you know when I'm going live and how it's going to be. Feel me? So let's like up the live let's share the live. Let's get everybody in. Let's gather bring around before we actually get started. You know, um, quick little update. You know, so I've been doing my little skirmishes. I've been doing my little skirmishes here and there, and I just came from a live where there was a Sikhism, right? And I was trying to show them that the God is metaphysically impossible. And when I say that they just like couldn't understand, they said, "Do you know anything about Sikhism?" I said, "Well, I do know that you believe your God is unipersonal and an absolute monad. Therefore, your God can't ground relational virtues, stuff like that. You feel me?" And it was like, "Well, we believe he's formless, this, that, and we don't believe he's a destroyer." If you Google Sikhism, their god Wahagaru or whatever is the most supreme god that is a creator and destroyer. You just Google it. That's what it says. But hey, internal critique, right? So she goes, "No, he's not a destroyer because energy can't be created or destroyed." I said, "Oh, is he identical to energy? Is he identical to energy?" He said he's within it. She said he's within it. Then Bud at the bottom said, I see what you're trying to do. You're trying to compare your God to our God. We only have one God. You have 3 gods. You know, typical, whatever. I said, bro, I'm just doing an internal critique. You just said that he's formless. You just said energy, though, because I asked him, is energy matter? And this man said, what's it matter? Matters matter. What's it matter? I said, okay, can we, what's going on? I said, is energy matter? He said, yeah, energies matter. I said, okay, well, your buddy just said that your God is identical to this energy. Sorry, that he's within this energy. That's what you said. You said he's within it, contained. How is he in it, but formless? How does that make sense? That's a contradiction. He said, no, it's not a contradiction. I said, here's the P and not P. You say your God is without form, but then you said he's in this thing that is form. That is a contradiction. What are we doing? What are we talking about? You hear me? So I just been, doing these little side quests for I've been just past the time. We got a quick little guest real quick before we start the debate reaction. Let's see. Talk to the guest real quick. Shout out to the $5 super chat from Garza. Shout out to you, brother. Appreciate you. Let's see.
Yo,
what up, man? Hello?
yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up?
Solid. What's up, man? I talked to you once or twice before a while ago, man.
Oh, did I?
Um,
Okay.
bro, I wanted to ask because you're Eastern Orthodox, bro. So why aren't you Roman Catholic? I want to know your stance on that.
They don't. I believe that they don't hold to things that are true. I believe there are certain things that are untrue under paradigm. I believe they also violated some canonical laws as well. I mean, there's a lot of reasons. So
Would the filioque be a prime example of one of those reasons?
the filioque is a part of that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I had a buddy of mine recently convert from I guess non-denominationalism to Roman Catholicism, and felt like there was just more truth in the church. And I'm a part of a non-denominational church, and so I know that we have a difference in belief. But yeah, I just had a genuine curiosity behind why one would either be Roman Catholic or Eastern Orthodox. But
Yeah. I mean, I can
okay,
just
so you're
give you.
saying there's quite a few examples.
Yeah, I can give you just a quick little rundown. So again, violation of canonical laws, papal supremacy, the Gregorian reform changed their ecclesiology, gave papal supremacy way more than it was supposed to. Immaculate conception, we don't agree with. Mary's death proves and disproves immaculate conception. She's immaculate conceived. She didn't need to die. Right? Death proves that she has a fallen nature. It's the whole point of why we die, because of a fallen nature. Filioque is two principles of divinity in God, which is a diarchy or polytheism. So there's that. There's those things, right? I think they distort the Western Fathers, and the Western Fathers are simply trying to show the consubstantiality of the Holy Spirit, and they make the Son a cause of the Holy Spirit, which is not what the Western Fathers, from our perspective, were trying to do. So therefore, they've distorted the Godhead, and have caused some real metaphysical problems, from our perspective, at least.
Yeah, that's clarifying. Yeah, that's helpful, man. I guess I try to understand some of those reasons a little bit deeper. Do you have any videos that you kind of dive deeper into these topics?
Do I have videos that dive deeper into the topics?
Yeah.
Like that, not that I produce myself. Those are on the way though. They're coming. It's just more so like reading. I have a lot of sources through my Patreon that I give out that speak on these things. I have a study tool called Notebook LM that I've made a lot of notes and stuff on and through, and that's through the Patreon. So yeah, I mean, I have things, but as far as like public videos breaking down each of these methods and stuff like that, not yet, but I will make those eventually.
Gotcha. For sure, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's the only question I have, bro. Appreciate it.
For sure, brother. God bless you, man.
I mean, God bless.
Safe. Okay. All right, y'all. Let's get this reaction started. If you just got into the live, we're going to be reacting to the Gospel of Truths channel, Michael Jones, Inspiring Philosophy versus Orthodox Muslim Libiano. Is Muhammad in the Bible? Y'all might have heard that this happened a couple days ago. You might have heard this happen a couple days ago. What up, Marie? Y'all might have heard this happen a couple days ago, man. Apparently it was entertaining, so we're gonna be entertained today, guys. That being said, let's get it started. If you don't got no snacks, if you don't got no food, there's a 2-minute timer here. Okay? There's a 2-minute timer here on the screen. Go get your snacks. Go get your food. Go get the gallon. You know we gotta go get our gallon of hater tears to truly enjoy a reaction. Okay? So let's get it. I'll be back. All right, we back in effect. No, I didn't have my gallon, but we do got a fresh Sprite. We're going to call these a liter of hater tears. You feel me? If this is your first time seeing one of my debates, I'm sorry, my debate reactions, we try to keep it entertaining around here. I'm an Eastern Orthodox Christian. Gang, gang! So my reaction is going to be, L Spite is crazy. You almost got muted. Our reaction is going to be, of course, from an Orthodox perspective. However, we're going to still try to remain unbiased to the best of our abilities while keeping it entertaining. Seeing what both sides are trying to say, and if they're saying something complicated, we can try to break it down. You know, keep it all good. All right, let's get in it. Let's get active. We're gonna fast forward.
Your rebuttal, and your closing. So with that said, I will start your 15-minute timer as soon as you begin to speak.
All right. Today's debate is about, is the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam prophesied in the Bible? That's a big fat yes. And just before I get started right into the prophecies, I want to show the Christian criteria for messianic prophecies that my interlocutor today, that's been away for 6 months somewhere, thinks are good.
Now, how is that relevant, right? This is what I be talking about, right? Like, what does him being away for 6 months have to do with anything going on? It is the rhetoric farming.
Sufficient prophecies to establish prophethood and messiahship. Now, please, if you are watching, if you are a Christian, I want you to listen to me. I want you to look at the evidence. Okay, I know you call me duck lips and lesbiano, and you don't like me because maybe I'm not.
We do call him lesbiano. He is accurate on that. We can't deny the truth. That is some things. I've never called him duck lips, but lesbiano has for sure come out of my mouth once or twice. You got me.
Not too nice to your religion sometimes, but really pay attention to the evidence that I provide today and against the typological flimsy garbage that IP is going to bring today. So
that's insane. How you going to appeal to us and then insult? Don't make no sense.
Let's give an example, a couple examples in the Gospel of Matthew. So Matthew, this gospel specifically points out a lot of prophecies in the Old Testament. One of them in Matthew 2:15, he quotes Hosea chapter 11 verse 1. Well, what happens in Hosea chapter 11 verse 1? God recalls his favor upon the Israelites by calling them outside of Egypt and saving them from the Exodus. He says, when Israel was a child, I loved him, and out of Egypt I called my son. But the more they went away from me, the more they sacrificed to idols and sacrifice and worship the Baals. Now, as you see, this is not a prophecy, has nothing to do with Jesus, has nothing to do about a 500-year later dying, rising savior, mythological man God who dies on a stick, who goes to Egypt, running away from Herod, has nothing to do with that. But guess what?
So Libiano doesn't understand typological prophecies. It's totally fine. We get it. We understood this. We expected this. But for the educational purposes, because it's still a debate apologetic / educational channel, Matthew is appropriating this type to Christ, who is the true Israel, the Israel that did not fail, the Israel that comes to redeem, the servant Israel of Isaiah 40. Okay, that was 40s. Okay, as Israel was called out of Egypt, so too was the actual son, the true son, called out of Egypt. This is called typological correlation.
Well, what does Matthew do? He takes half of the verse, not even the full verse, ladies and gentlemen, half of the verse, and says, out of Egypt I called my son. This is fulfilled by Jesus. Wow, man, what a flimsy prophet. This is what they call a prophet.
Yeah, this is not flimsy. Again, typological. You got to understand Christology. This is why I say, like, Christology, soteriology, theology, Mariology, these are all interconnected. If you understand the Christology of Christ assuming humanity to himself, he appropriates the expression or the conditions of humanity to himself. Like when he quotes Psalms, when it says, where David is saying that the friend who broke bread with me has betrayed me. Well, that same Psalm, David calls himself a wretched sinner. Jesus is not calling himself a wretched sinner, clearly, but he is appropriating this of what David is talking about to himself of what actually happened. Same thing with the my God, why have you forsaken me? He's appropriating the condition of humanity being forsaken by God due to the fall, appropriating to himself. That's how he redeems it. Libiano doesn't know anything about this. So therefore, he carnally tries to say this is flimsy. It's actually really sad, you know.
Prophecy. I'm not going to take too long. I just want to show the hypocrisy being found. If this is sufficient to be a prophecy, then I don't know what to tell you, my friend. You might as well take your shot at today. And he does this over and over again with the young woman will give birth to a son from Isaiah, twisting passages, taking them out of its context. Bethlehem, out of your ruler over Israel. Micah chapter 5, verse 2. This ruler is supposed to subdue the Assyrians, be a king over Israel. What did Jesus do? He died on a stick. He died on a stick, ladies and gentlemen. Matthew 2:16, Rachel weeps for her children. This is Jeremiah saying.
The reason why this is L rhetoric, because Libiano doesn't believe he died on a stick. That's first. Secondly, if he's trying to represent us properly, Jesus died, but he also resurrected as king and sat down on the throne. So this is why this is L rhetoric, because he's not actually, he's either straw manning or he's throwing his own paradigm under the bus. This is silly.
Saying that the ancestral mother of Israel is weeping because the Israelites are being oppressed by the Babylonians. But guess what? Matthew somehow puts it about a dying, rising God. Can you guys believe it, ladies and gents? So this is the amount. This is what they consider to be sufficient prophecy. All right. Now, I want to focus on one more before we get into the prophecies. Matthew in 2:23 says that Jesus grew up in Nazareth to fulfill the prophecy that was spoken by the prophets. Out of Egypt I called, or not out of Egypt, that the Messiah will be called the Nazarene. Wow, man. That must be fantastic. There must be a prophecy in the Old Testament that the prophet spoke that he will be called the Nazarene. Wrong. There isn't. So how does IP deal with this? In a video he made 15 years ago, because he's doing this for 15 years and he's still trash. All right. What does he say? He says, well,
come on, bro. What is this cartoon, bro? Like, come on, dude.
Maybe Matthew's quoting an oral tradition that doesn't exist. Oh, guess what? It sounds like a magical oral tradition, magical Torah. He says, option 2, Nazarene is like another way of saying, I hate you. Oh my God. Wow, man. Wow, what an amazing
That's not what that says. But again, for those that want to know, Nazarene comes from the word natzer, which means to be despised. To be despised or despaired. Isaiah 53, he was despised and despaired. That's what he's talking about, because the Jews are very punny, right? Jews like to use pun-like type words. Okay, here's an example. Eve is called, I forgot the Hebrew, whatever the Hebrew word is for when she's called Eve, translates to Livy, right? Like if it was in English, it would be like saying Livy, because she's the mother of the living. They're just punny like that. But again, Libiano doesn't know things.
Nazarene is another way of saying I hate you. And the third one, which he seems to take himself, is, well, Nazarene sounds similar to branch, which is Netzar in Hebrew. And in Isaiah calls the Messiah that comes from the root of Jesse a branch. So because the word sounds similar, or maybe has a similar or the same root, it must be Jesus. Wow, guys. Similar. Guys, remember this. Similar word means prophecy. Wow. Now, let's see what St. John Chrysostom, who's the golden mouth of commentary. What does he say? Oh, the Jews ripped it up. They corrupted it. It's corrupted, guys. Wow, the Bible's corrupted. That's why Nazarene is not there. Wow. They want to accuse us of, and mock us for saying the Bible's corrupted. But St. John Chrysostom says, well, Matthew was quoting a verse. The Jews corrupted it. The evil Jews cut it up in pieces and burn. Anyways, I'm not going to spend too much time, but just to show you the hypocrisy, guys, because I'm going to bury him today. Anyways, what does scholarship say? Scholarship says, as you can see here, Geza affirms, she says that there is no evidence that Nazarene and Netzar have to do anything with each other, okay? So you could read that. I'm not going to spend time reading it. So as you can see, flimsy, typological, out of context, garbage. I will present real prophecies, real contextual fulfillment, meaningful, and without any typology. And trust me, if you are a Christian and you just hear what I say and open up your heart and your mind, just look at the evidence. And for Muslims, I promise you, you will get goosebumps listening to me.
Hey, back up on your mic. That's first and foremost. Secondly, hey, W passion. Gotta give it to him. I'll give it to him. He's passionate. His passion is there. Knowledge a little, passion is there.
You will get goosebumps. Listen to me, and your hairs on your arms will stand up. Let's get right into it. Okay, I will demonstrate that there's a prophet who comes after 70 AD. He will come to save the Jews from the Roman exile. He will spread universal recognition of the true God, monotheism, and his kingdom will come after the Roman Empire and will subjugate Rome. Now, let's get into Daniel 2:7, and I know he probably expects me to talk about this, but there's no way out of this. Featuring King Silv, the statue. So what is...
What is this? And this is why I don't take Libiano seriously. Like, are you serious? I mean, do you have any couth, any class? Like, what is this? This is an adult, guys. This is a grown man. Like, this is silly. It's silly. It's silly. It's not as funny as he thinks it is. Like, it's all right.
Daniel 2:7 about. Just to sum it up quick, Daniel's a prophet in exile. The Babylonian king at the time, called King Nebuchadnezzar, has a dream, and he wants his dream interpreted. What's the dream? Well, he sees a statue made of 5 different elements. Each body part is an element. Then he sees a stone not cut with human hands come and destroy the statue. And so King Nebuchadnezzar wants his dream interpreted. So who does it? Daniel alayhi salam, the prophet of God. He interprets this prophecy for him. What's the prophecy?
How do we know that this is not corrupted? How do we know that Daniel's scripture is not corrupted?
There will be 4 successive kingdoms, world empires that come one right after the other. Traditional Jewish and Christian interpretation has always been that it's Babylon, Medo-Persia, Greece, and Rome. These are the 4 kingdoms that come one after the other.
So wait, we're taking Christian tradition now? Wait a minute. See, Christian tradition and study shows about the Matthew verse to mean what we said. And you said, nah, what? Prophecy? No way. But now you're appealing to Christian tradition to say something is true about this? Inconsistent. You see what I'm saying? Don't borrow from us to hate us either. Either it's right or it's not. Don't be arbitrary.
Destroy each other and succeed one another as world empires. And Daniel tells us the second kingdom and the third kingdom explicitly in Daniel 8. Isaiah also tells us, and Jeremiah also tells us. Now, let's look at the Babylonian Empire. This is the first kingdom that Daniel says, this is the head of gold. This is the kingdom that has all the beasts of the earth under it. Look at it. I want you to see. A lot of people are visual learners. Please pay attention to what I'm saying. Look at the landmass that Babylon has. Now look at the landmass that Medo-Persia had right after Babylon. Look at that landmass. Now Alexander the Great comes and look at his landmass. He comes and succeeds the Medes and the Persians. Now, who is the 4th kingdom? What is the 4th?
Hey, who is this supposed to be? Who is that supposed to be on this? Who is that supposed to be? Yo, can somebody answer that for me? Ortho Broski on YouTube says, are you Orthodox, bro? Who brought you into Orthodoxy? I am Orthodox. The truth brought me into Orthodoxy. I have a video on it on my YouTube if you want to watch that out. It's entitled, I Became Eastern Orthodox, and it explains my reasons for doing so. I'm actually about to make a follow-up video for that 1 year being Eastern Orthodox. This coming up, Pashka. Okay, let's get back to it. But who is this, y'all? Who is this, bro?
beast. It is the Roman Empire. And this is the Roman Empire at its greatest extent. Look at that. It's more than triple, if not quadruple the size of these previous kingdoms that Daniel says succeed the earth, rule the earth. Now, the fifth kingdom, according to Daniel, is the kingdom of God. It is the kingdom that comes and crushes the Roman Empire, brings it to an end. Remember, these are the words of Daniel, not my words. Forget Lipiano. Look at what Daniel says. The fifth kingdom will crush Rome. It will be instituted by God himself and will spread. It will become a mountain and fill the whole earth. Now, ladies and gentlemen, take a look at what comes next.
You know, the theatrics are there. I think he practiced this in the mirror before he started. I like to think that Arius was like Lipiano in the Council of Nicaea. I see why he got slapped.
What is the kingdom that came and destroyed and subjugated Rome? It is the kingdom of Ishmael, the kingdom of God. Take a look, ladies and gentlemen. Tell me if this is typological. Tell me if this is flimsy. Tell me if this is taking things out of context. Look at the mighty empire of Ishmael. Look at the mighty empire of Ishmael. Let's keep going. A lot of you are visual learners. I have to show you. This is Rome in 630, right here. That's 2 years before the prophet dies. This is Persia in 630, 2 years before the prophet dies. They are world empires that crush everything in front of them, just like the prophet Daniel alayhi salam says. Look at how big Rome is. Look at how big Persia is. And you see that little dot in the middle? You see that little tiny circle in the middle of nowhere? That is the kingdom of Ishmael. What happened 7 years later? Please tell me what happened 7 years later. Here comes the stone that out of nowhere comes, destroys these empires and becomes a world empire and subjugates everybody. Just as Daniel said. What happened 7 years later? Allahu Akbar. The kingdom of Ishmael has absolutely exterminated Rome. Look at Rome, tiny, non-existent.
I didn't know Rome was non-existent anymore. Could have sworn the prophecy says that Rome is not supposed to exist anymore.
Persia, back to the lobby. Persia is erased. There's no more Persia. The kingdom of Ishmael comes in a span of 70 years. The Muslims control more land in 70 years than the Roman Empire did in 800 years, ladies and gents. If this is not historical fulfillment, I don't know what is. Now, who said this? Is this Muslims saying this? Let's look at what Christians are saying at this time. Guys, don't listen to Lipiano. Look at what the Christians are saying in the letters of Ishuyab III, dated to the year 650, an Eastern Christian ecclesiastical authority. What does he say describing Islam? For also these Arabs, to whom at this time God has given control over the world.
I don't know who this is. I should do a look. Let me check.
Wow, the Arabs have control over the world.
Did he say Easter? Does that say Easter Christian Ecclesiastical Authority? You know, we gotta fact check. You know, we gotta fact check the Momo sometimes. Let's just look at this real quick. Isho. Yeah. The third. Let me see. Is she a saint in anybody's church? Patriarch of the Church of the East. Oh, a heretic. Let's see. Patriarch of the Church of the East. Like the Syrian Church of the East? Church of the East. Yeah. Syrian Church. But he's not a saint. He's not even a saint in their church. So he was a patriarch. So what is he saying? Ecclesiastical authority. You see what I'm talking about? You see what I'm talking about? So he brought a random patriarch that nobody counts as a saint in the Syrian Church of the East church at that. All right, Brody. All right, bro. All right, you got it, bro.
According to Christians in the 650 AD. Are we done? No, we're not done. In the Khuzestan Chronicle, which is also a Syriac Christian chronicle from the year 650 AD, what does this Christian say? Then God brought up against them the sons of Ishmael, who were as numerous as sand upon the seashore. Ladies and gentlemen, pay attention. These are not Muslims. These are Christians saying this. Their leader was Muhammad. Neither walls, nor gates, nor armor, nor shield withstood them. They took control over the entire Persian Empire. And he says in paragraph 35, and at the aforementioned time when the Arabs had conquered all the lands of the Persians and the Romans, just like Daniel had foretold a few hundred years before. Wow. Let's look what the Khuzestan Chronicle also says. The victory of the sons of Ishmael who overcame and subjugated these kingdoms was from God. Indeed, the victory is his, but God hasn't yet handed Constantinople over to them. Am I spiritualizing anything? Am I telling you it's typology? Am I telling you the Holy Spirit is tickling me? I am giving.
Ready, guys? The Khuzestan Chronicle is an anonymous Anonymous 7th century Nestorian Christian chronicle. Nestorian Christian chronicle. Written in Syriac and East Syria circles, it covers the period from circa 590 to 660, from the end of the reign of Sasanian ruler Hormizd IV to the aftermath of the fall of the Sasanian Empire. The work was a work of contemporary accounts and combines material from written sources and oral accounts. The chronicle was discovered by the Italian Orientalist Iganzio Guidi, 1844 to 1935, and also as Guidi's Chronicle or Guidi Anonymous. So he's quoting an anonymously written source found in 1800s. Got you.
I'm just reading, for God's sake. I'm just reading historical attestation.
He is
Who
reading.
subjugated Rome? The kingdom of Ishmael subjugated Rome. There is no doubt about that. Now, you are going to get goosebumps now. Look at what scholars say. The New World of Islam by Lathrop Stoddard says, the rise of Islam, remember, this is the stone cut from human hands. It comes suddenly and unexplainably destroys the whole statue. The rise of Islam is perhaps the most amazing event in human history, springing from a land and a people alike previously negligible. Islam spread within a century over half of the earth, shattering great empires, overthrowing long-established religions, remolding the souls of the races, and building up a whole new world, the world of Islam. But we're not done. The closer we examine this development, the more extraordinary does it appear. The other great religions won their way slowly, by painful struggle, and finally triumphed with the aid of powerful monarchs converted to the new faith. Christianity had its Constantine. Buddhism had its Asox. Zoroastrianism had its Cyrus, each leading to his chosen cult, the mighty force of secular authority. Not so Islam, arising in a desert land, sparsely inhabited by the nomad race, previously undistinguishable in human annals. Islam sallied forth on its great adventure with the slenderest human backing and against the heaviest of material odds. Yet Islam triumphed with a seemingly miraculous ease. Ladies and gentlemen, that's God right there.
Why y'all still number 2 then? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, why you not the biggest religion in the world? Like, why are you the fastest growing religion for 1,000 years and not overtaking anything? That's crazy.
That's the stone not cut from human hands. Miraculously, in a couple of generations, saw the fiery crescent born victorious. Man, if this is not fulfillment, what is fulfillment? Let's keep going. The next prophecy will be the kingdom of God in the parables of the banquet and the tenants from Matthew 21 and Matthew 22. I'll just sum it up quickly. Matthew 22, Jesus compares the kingdom of God to a king who prepares a wedding banquet for his son. If you're familiar with biblical exegesis, the king is God and the son, there's 2 interpretations, either Jesus or mankind. He prepares the wedding banquet for his son. He sends his servants to those who had been invited, telling them, come to the kingdom of God. Come to the kingdom of God. But they reject, they deny, they kill God's prophets. They mistreat God's prophets. So what does God do? He gets angry. He executes punishment. The rest sees his servants mistreated them and killed them. The king was enraged. He sent his army, destroyed those murderers, and burnt down their city. I have 1 more minute, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I guess that's a yes. So anyways, this happens after 70 AD. Why? Because according to the consensus of traditional critical scholars, when God executes punishment in 70 AD, and then the invitation to the Gentiles happens after 70 AD. So this is the timeline. I'm not going to go through it, but this is summing up everything I said. Am I cherry picking? No, I'm not cherry picking, because when it comes to historical reports, they can't be accepted without any reasonable grounds. I accept this parable because it's independently attested and it meets the criteria of dissimilarity, which are two criteria of authenticity. Therefore, I'm locally justified in accepting this parable and nothing else. Then we have Psalm 74, which describes the Roman exile and God coming to save the Jews from the Roman exile, which Malachi 3 and Isaiah 40 also say that God will send a messenger of the covenant to save the Jews from the Roman exile. Guess who? The Muslims. Moshe Gil says in his book, The History of Palestine, that the 10th century Jewish Karaite Rabbi Salman bin Rahim says.
Here's my question. When were the Jews saved? How did Muslims save the Jews? Like, what are you talking about?
That's time right there.
Quick? Can I read it quick?
No, that's time.
All right,
Time
no
expired. Sorry about that.
Sure, no
Time's
problem.
expired. All right. Thank you, Mike.
This said, can I read this whole paragraph real quick? Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. I know you think you where you at, but you ain't where you at. Knock it off.
You're up for your 15-minute opening statement, and I will start your time as soon as you begin to speak.
All right, let's go, IP.
I got to put slides up.
Okay, yeah, go to, there's at the bottom of the screen, you see icons there. There's a computer little base. There you go. You already got it.
There we
Wrote it
go.
Before
All
I even
right.
said anything. All right, if you want to put it in presentation mode, it may be bigger so people can see a lot better, but
Yeah, it kind of could get weird, so I'm just going to stick with
All right.
this. So we should be okay. Though.
all right, that's fine.
So let me know
That's
when you're
fine.
ready.
Start. I'm ready. I'll start your time as soon as you begin to speak.
All right, thank you, Marlon. I have a short opening statement, and then I'm going to use the rest of my time as a rebuttal. To be clear, I'm not defending Christianity today, because remember, that's not the debate topic my opponent wanted. He spent over 5 minutes not even on the topic. Christianity could be false for the purposes of this debate, and that wouldn't make Islam true.
Oh, shoot. I forgot. The title is Muhammad in the Bible. Yo. His whole opening statement didn't prove is Muhammad himself in the Bible. This was crazy. I will give the credit now. Okay? I can't take credit away. The theatrics made me forget the topic of the debate. The theatrics and the rhetoric made me forget the topic of the debate. Hey, that's talent. That's freaking talent. Hey, yo. That's crazy. His debate, his opening didn't even do nothing with the topic. That's wild.
So he needs to defend the claim Muhammad is in the Bible, regardless of the true status of Christianity. I hope he can stay on topic, unlike what he did for a third of his opening statement. For those confused as to why Muslims are desperate to find their prophet in books they claim are corrupted, let me explain. Surah 7 says that they can find the description of Muhammad in the Torah and the Gospel, and Surah 61 says Jesus spoke of a messenger after him whose name will be Ahmed. So the Quran says Muslims can find prophecies of their Muhammad in the Torah and Gospel, which means they can't look at this without blatant Islamic bias. They need him to be in there because the Quran says he is in there. But in this debate, we can't start with the Quran, assume it's true, and then force biblical data to fit Islamic conclusions. We need to use biblical texts alone and see if they actually predict an important prophet after Jesus who will deliver divine revelations. So if they cannot find a description of their prophet in our Bible, then we must conclude Islam is false. Libiano did not actually present any of that, surprisingly. He relied on very few passages, and so he did not show Jesus speaking of someone named Ahmed, and he did not show a description of Muhammad in the Torah or the Gospel. But I want to point out that even if my opponent is successful, he will only end up showing Islam, as practiced by Muslims today, is false. Because by using our book as their authority to prove Islam is true, you create a dilemma I'm calling the biblical prophet dilemma. Either Muhammad is in our scriptures or he is not. The first one is pretty simple. Surah 7 and 61 say we can find a description of him in our Torah and Gospel. If we cannot find him in there, then Islam is false. And so far, we've not seen anything like that. But if we find predictions of some future prophet in there, then that means our scriptures accurately predict the future, are divine revelations from God. but they teach a completely different theology and contradictory history to what we find in the Quran. It is important to remember biblical descriptions are not neutral. If they are found in the biblical text, they are theologically indexed and cannot be divorced from their context or theology. So unless the Bible were
in Proverbs 18:17. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's exactly what's happening. What happened?
Didn't teach atonement. The Bible says Jesus is fully God. The Quran says he was a mere prophet. The Bible says the covenant will come through Isaac and not through Ishmael at all. And there are many other differences. But if the Bible is divine revelation from God and accurately predicts the coming of another prophet, then he either hasn't come yet, and that first one was a satanic impostor, or the prophet did come, as he really was Muhammad, but the Quran as we have it today must have been thoroughly corrupted by Muslims after his death so that it no longer matches the prior scriptures. Because again, the biblical texts for this debate are established as our authority with accurate prophecies from God. But there's no getting around the fact that they completely contradict the Quran in multiple ways. So either way, Islam is false. If my opponent is successful in showing the Bible does predict a future prophet, that will just mean Islam is false. Now, I expect he will try to say the Bible's been corrupted, like his main source does, but we can still find accurate prophecies of Muhammad in there, just in the non-corrupted parts. This doesn't work because we just need to ask, how do we know which parts are corrupted and which have not been? He'll have to say it's the parts that just so happen to agree with Islam, but that will be arguing in a circle. Islam is true, so we can use the Quran to know which parts of the Bible are accurate, and those parts include predictions of Muhammad, and we use those to show Islam is true. This is obviously circular. It is fallacious, and so it doesn't establish the truth of Islam. So I expect my opponent will complain about this, about me pointing out his argument is circular, but the reality is if he tries this, he would be admitting defeat. He may also try to avoid this by bringing up John Chrysostom or Justin Martyr like he kind of did, claiming they're doing something similar, which is false. They're actually doing the exact opposite of what he is doing, but either way, that would be a tu quoque fallacy. He may try to bring up passages like Jude 1, which may quote the book of Enoch, but that won't be a valid comparison because Jude quoting Enoch does not entail that Jude believed Enoch was scripture. He quoted it to teach Christians to persevere in the faith. There is nothing wrong with quoting another work for teaching purposes only. Jude is only doing that, and he's not using it to establish the truth of his worldview. Whereas my opponent is trying to use the Bible to establish the truth of his religion, which he cannot do if the Bible contradicts his religion. Again, the biblical prophecies are theologically indexed. You cannot divorce them from their context by using the Quran as your criterion, because that would be assuming the truth of the Quran to prove the truth of the Quran. Muslims should understand where I'm coming from because they reject Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, who claimed that Muhammad predicted his coming. But they're not going to just go on his mere claims and his citations of Quran verses and hadith that he used to support himself. Muslims rightly bring up that his claims contradict their theology and that you can't cherry pick the Quran and use the works of Mirza Ghulam Ahmad to interpret them, which is the same thing I'm pointing out today. Again, if my opponent wants to argue for the truth of Islam from the Bible, he can only use the Bible and its prophecies, but those are theologically indexed.
Hey, can we just take a note that IP has not insulted him yet? He hasn't used fallacious rhetoric. He hasn't did silly pictures. Can we just, one seems like just sending you facts, the other seems like he's using things for compensation purposes.
So there's only two options now. Future prophet is in there or he is not. If he's not in there, then Islam is false. But if it does predict the coming of another prophet, then Islam must be false. That real prophet has not come yet, or he did and it was a Trinitarian Christians that early Muslims corrupted, which hypothetically would kind of make sense because the Quran claims to confirm the prior scriptures. But that's a topic for another time. So no matter what he presents here today, we must conclude Islam is false. He is in a no-win situation. In fact, the rest of what we do is now trivial because of this dilemma. But regardless of this fact, what I'm going to do now with the rest of my time is at least show why it's absolute nonsense to suggest that Muhammad is in the Bible. So let's start with some basics here. The two passages he used was Daniel 2 and Matthew, parables in Matthew 21 and 20.
Now, again, unbiased, Christian, Eastern Orthodox, gang, all that. I don't think you're supposed to rebuttal yet, IP. That's all I'm saying. The openings is supposed to be openings. That's all I thought. Now, I don't know if they came to an agreement. I don't know if they, said that this will be cool, be okay. But it's typically not ethically ethical to do that, But hey, grown man can't stop a grown man from doing whatever.
Let's start with Daniel here, okay? So scholars are actually divided on how to interpret Daniel 2. Most scholars say that most modern scholars say the statue is Babylon, the Medes, the Persians, and then Greece, and others, more traditional, say Babylon, Medo-Persia, Greece, and Rome. So that needs to be addressed as well. It's actually fine for Christians, regardless of what either one we take. Daniel, let's talk a little bit about this. He claimed that Islam ended the Roman Empire, but he didn't actually justify that. All he said was around 700 AD, but Rome outlasted that. I suspect he's going to come back and he's going to say, yeah, but the Ottomans came in and ended the Roman Empire in 1453. Well, he needs to actually justify that. I'm going to challenge him on that. I'm not convinced of that, actually. He needs to define what he means by the Roman Empire and what metric he is using.
I just said, Eli Apologetics said, Dom, have you seen this debate yet? Like before the stream? No, I haven't. I have not. Let me say he got it short open and he's gonna use the rest of it. Yeah, I know he said he was gonna use the rest for as rebuttal, but I don't know if that's like what you're supposed to do, right? In the debate. So I thought it was supposed to be 2 openings and then rebuttals and whatnot. So, but I don't know. I don't know how they formatted it. So, but I haven't seen this one. I haven't seen this debate yet. This is my first time being it.
Using to determine the end of the Roman Empire. So what ended in 1453 or 700, as we saw on the screen, that shows it's the end of the Roman Empire because it definitely outlasted 700. And I will argue that no matter what metric he uses, he'll accidentally admit the Roman Empire ended before 1453 or after and by another group. So he needs to actually defend that claim, not me. Let's talk a little bit about what Daniel says. So Daniel actually says this kingdom, the stone thrown from heaven, is supposed to last forever, using the Hebrew word olam. Now, in past debates, Libiano has said, well, you can just refer to long periods of time. But let's talk a little bit about what the word olam means. It doesn't mean eternity or forever, despite the way it's often translated. Scholars like Sacha Stern have pointed out the actual meaning of the word is permanent. It means permanent, which makes sense because when you'll see it used in, for example, the Torah, it'll say that there are certain things like the Levitical priests had to do olam, forever. But really it just means permanent. They're permanent stipulations of the Mosaic covenant.
That's a great point. So then when the Messiah his origins are from olam, it means that he's had permanence. It means he's always. That's a new tool in our handy belt.
Sometimes punishments are doled out, like in Jeremiah, and there are permanent aspects of that punishment, for example. So that's what it means. It means a permanent kingdom. And context helps us determine how it's used. Well, in Daniel 2, it's completely unstipulated. It's just a permanent kingdom, which suggests it's supposed to last forever. He may appeal to the Magi, referring to King Nebuchadnezzar, saying, "Oh, king, live forever," but they're not a reliable source. These are like the bad guys of this story. So we don't go to them to better interpret Daniel. So that's also important. He also needs to justify that the stone is just another earthly kingdom. So, for example, John Walton and Audrey Buster say in their recent commentary on Daniel, as scholars identify, the text represents a conundrum. If each successive kingdom has replaced the previous kingdom, how can the kingdom of God destroy them all? Furthermore, why does each successive kingdom not destroy the preceding layer? See, the statue already sets up the context of earthly kingdoms destroying each other, represented by a new layer. But the stone is doing something entirely different. It's not like the earthly kingdoms. It's entirely different. And it's that needs to be addressed as well. For example, Eugene Carpenter in the Cornerstone Biblical Commentary says, this kingdom and its related world systems contains the seed of its own.
Jason on TikTok says, I find it funny that you shut down Moses when he was coming up. Then he went silent, but now he's back. I have to run it back. Why is that funny? Why is that funny?
Own demise. A blow to the feet of the image would place the entire structure in danger. The huge image collapsed not only by the blow to its feet, but because it ultimately had no solid foundation upon which to rest. It produced division within itself, its own foundation succumbed, crumbled, and collapsed. Attempts within the world system to create unity fail. It is destined for certain annihilation. It is no accident that the image was attacked at the feet and not its head. In other words, he is pointing out that the stone is destroying the entire system of empires coming and destroying each other. John Walton and Aubrey Buster point this out as well in their commentary on Daniel. So it's not going to be just another earthly kingdom. If that was the case, it would just set up another layer in the statue. This is something entirely different, which is why commentators have noted it better makes sense as a spiritual kingdom, not an earthly kingdom, and it needs to last forever. The Islamic Caliphate did not last forever, therefore it cannot fulfill that. Also, he says that the stone, he's going to try to say the stone has to come after the division. Doesn't actually say it has to come after the division. That needs to be pointed out as well. So Audrey Buster and John Walton point out that it's actually using the word plural there for kings, and it could refer to any of the kings that come after Nebuchadnezzar. So that's important as well.
Okay. So what I think IP is basically saying is that the articulation of the prophecy in and of itself obligates for it to be a spiritual conquering. And this is true, right? This conquering that happens by the kingdom of God is a spiritual conquering. And from an Orthodox perspective, we understand that all these other nations, they had false gods, idols. And the true God, the kingdom of the true God, conquers because they all destroy their God destroys their false gods and false beliefs, right? And so their kingdom or their rule is no longer because they don't worship said gods anymore.
Now, he also brought up Matthew, these parables. Let's be clear about these parables in Matthew. They're not saying what he seems to be what he thinks they're saying. Parables are just approximations. For example, later in Matthew, Jesus gives a parable of himself. He says it's like a king going on a long journey. He didn't actually go on a long journey. So these are approximations. Now, this is about Islam. We have a problem. He has a hyper literal reading of these parables. Okay, if we're going to have a hyper literal reading of these parables, they say that God only sent prophets twice prior to the coming of the Son and Heir. Twice. Now, that contradicts the Islamic history because prophets were sent multiple times. So if we have to take this strictly hyper literal, the chronology of it, it would not fit with Islam at that. And remember, parables are approximations. We don't have to agree. The chronology has to be literally unfolding this way. And plus, it speaks as the invite to the Gentiles happening right after the destruction of Jerusalem, not 600 years later. Also, God didn't send his army to destroy Jerusalem. He allowed Rome to destroy it. So unless he wants to say the Roman army was God's army, that's not going to work as well with his hyper literal reading. So that needs to be kept in mind as well. What else did he say? He brought up the criterion of dissimilarity to help support that. That's great. But if you're going to use parables, or excuse me, you're going to use criteria like that, okay, well then historians are going to note the most likely thing that happened was that Jesus was crucified and died. That fits all of the historical criteria in terms of what's going on there.
Facts. Ain't that what I said? That's what I said. Ain't that what I said earlier?
So if we're going to use historical criteria, great, but you're going to have to accept basic Christian doctrines, like the idea that Jesus was crucified and died, which I don't think he's going to be willing to do. So we can't pick and choose when historical criteria, like the criterion of dissimilarity, apply. That's not going to work. So as I said, he didn't really mention much else beyond that. He cited Christians and authors at the time of the Arab conquest. Irrelevant, we're talking about Muhammad and the Bible, and so far we've not seen Surah 7:157 or Surah 61:6 met. Therefore, I guess Islam is just not making, or the Quran is not making an accurate claim there when it says that Muhammad is in there, and we can find his description. So we need to see actual evidence for that. It's a shame he wasted a third of his opening statement not actually presenting that. But yeah, I mean, so far we've seen no evidence. And by the way, the parables in Matthew and Daniel don't mention a future prophet. So he's inserting that in there. I thought this was about Muhammad and the Bible. But we do need to get more into what's going on in Daniel too, because again, I need to know what metric he is using to determine the end of the Roman Empire. Was there a line of kings that ended? Was there no more Caesars of Rome reigning in Constantinople? What are you using to define the end of the Roman Empire, and how do you know that it was Muslims that ended it? There's a lot of historical problems there we're gonna have to get into.
That's a good question. And that's the thing with a lot of these arguments that folks be bringing up. They have a lot of holes. Like they don't really flesh out their arguments before they release it, right? They try to battle test it on TikTok or in the not TikTok, on their Discords. Try to battle test it on Discords and then try to bring it to TikTok and then eventually YouTube to like as if it's like truly fleshed out and polished. It's not. There's a lot of holes.
He also brought up Assam, but he didn't have much time to go over that, so I will let him try to defend that later. It's also important to remember two final things. Libiano needs to present a clear methodology for what he's doing. He needs to explain every part of each passage he is using to predict Muhammad, and he cannot arbitrarily say something is metaphorical or literal, like he's done in the past. Okay, so we need to know.
Do we know what denomination IP is? I think he's Protestant. I think he's just non-denomination. I don't know if he holds to a particular denomination.
What is going on, why Islam literally fulfills these things. Second, he needs to demonstrate why any of his interpretations are more than merely possible readings. They need to be shown to be the most probable, and he has not done that thus far. So, yeah, I'll yield the rest of my time. I'd like to hear what he has to say in his rebuttal, and then we can get into the cross-examination.
All right. Thank you so much for the opening statement, guys. All right.
I like IP's approach because he takes a more like this scholastic approach, right? Like though he's Christian and he, you know, for sure attempts to use the lens view of the Christian world, right, for how he's interpreting and understanding these scriptures. He does appeal to scholarship, right? A lot. Like that's like his main weapon, his forefront. That's a cool style, really, because like for us, at least me, I'll speak for myself, I'm taking more of a theological style. I'm gonna be taking more theologians. I'm taking more church fathers, taking more, you know, what they've interpreted these scriptures as to be. But for him, for debates like this specifically, outsiders coming to reinterpret, that's a different angle that they're not really gonna really expect. You know what I'm saying? So I think that sometimes, or most of the time, for most of his career, has worked in his favor. You know.
All right, so we are transitioning to our rebuttal rounds, and our rebuttal rounds are 5-minute rebuttals. And so, Liviano, I will start your 5-minute time. Let me set this thing, make sure it's right here. All right, I will start your 5-minute timer as soon as you begin to speak. I think you might be muted.
Why he always... Bro, every debate, Libiano just be muted sometimes. Like always. Like he be forgetting that he mute himself and he just don't unmute his mic. This is like the 5th debate in a row where he forgets to unmute himself. Like, come on, man, let's lock in. Come on.
Sorry about that. So instead of getting an opening an opening section, I got a bunch of voice cracks and no.
Bro, you see what I'm talking about, bro? There's a word for a particular caliber of person. Okay, I would love to just say that word because come on, dude. Like, can we just please
evidence and just yapping about nothing, basically. All right, so I'm going to respond to everything he said, and I cannot wait till we get to the cross-exam where I bury you and your false god. So check this out. He runs away from Christianity. He says, well, I'm not here to defend Christianity, so I'm going to be a goofy, liberal, secular, just so you don't prove that me as a Christian, you're going to dominate me because your Islamic interpretation is more likely from the text. Thank you very much. You're a goofball, man. He says,
I wasn't laughing at Libya. I was laughing at what Swish said. Very similar. Very, 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 very close. Swish
didn't show Muhammad. He didn't show that Jesus said Ahmed will come. Well, wait until the cross exam where I'm gonna make you stutter. Okay?
That's what you were supposed to do. What do you mean? Wait until the cross exam? Your opening was supposed to show that. Dingus. What are you doing? But he said he's gonna make IP stutter. Okay, whatever that means.
You just wait, but that's not the debate topic, remember? As long as I show the Prophet Muhammad in the Bible, I don't need to show anything else. So you appealing to specific instances where I'm supposed to show that Jesus spoke about Muhammad, that's not a debate topic. You can accept that debate topic.
He didn't say Jesus speaking about Muhammad. He says it's but like the Bible showing Muhammad, because your Quran says that Muhammad's description is in there. Like
with Deen, so he could further crucify you after I do. Then he says, oh, the dilemma. Every day you come up with a dilemma, but it's nothing. You're just speaking, man. You're just here. You're just participating. So he says, either he's there and Islam is false, or either he's not there and Islam is false. Well, why? Because if he's there, then our scripture is divinely revealed. Holy fat non sequitur. Please give me the inference for that, the formal argument for that. And this time, give me an inference rule. You're supposed to have a master's degree in philosophy, yet you don't know what an inference rule is. Don't think we forgot about that. So please tell me how that follows. Fat non sequitur. Thank you very much. Then he says, yaps about Quran.
Hey, how is that a non sequitur, though? How is that a non sequitur?
Confirming the Bible. I didn't know we're talking about the Islamic dilemma today, but I'm more than happy to belt you on the Islamic dilemma. Just let me know, man. If you want to use your time in the cross exam, talk about Islamic dilemma, let me know. Then he says, oh, in the
exactly, twin. So nuh-uh, just a bunch of nuh-uhs. Okay.
Bible, the covenant will come from Jacob. No, it doesn't. Genesis 17 gives two covenants, one specifically for Isaac and one universal covenant under Abraham. John the Baptist says in the beginning of Matthew that if the Jews keep disobeying, keep killing the prophets, God will raise up other children of Abraham from these very stones. Thank you very much. And there's also
He just made that. What is he talking about? He just combined it like 3 different instances in the Bible to like one old thing and said, "This is what is it." This is bad.
also a covenantal shift. According to the early Christians, they say it's the church that replaced Israelites' promises. We say
that's not true. Not replaced. The church has always been true Israel.
Say that it's the children of Ishmael who replaced the covenant, as Jesus himself in Matthew 21 says. Thank you very much. He says, well, how do we know which parts are corrupted? That's actually a decent question. I'm going to answer you that. Well, Libiano, you're quoting this prophecy and that prophecy, but how are you justified in saying this is not corrupted and this is not? Well, very good question. I'll tell you how.
He just said the same thing twice, guys. He just said the same thing twice. Guys, pay attention. He just said the same thing twice. He just said the same thing twice. Ready? He said, then you asked, how do you know which scriptures are corrupt or not corrupt? That's a very good question. I'll actually answer you right now. Oh, so Libiano, you read this scripture, read that scripture. How do you know that these scriptures are corrupt or not corrupt? That's a good question. I'm going to answer you. Why didn't he just answer the question? He just repeated himself. For what? Look, you think I'm lying? Let's go back.
Well, how do we know which parts are corrupted? That's actually a decent question. I'm going to answer you that. Well, Libiano, you're quoting this prophecy and that prophecy, but how are you justified in saying this is not corrupted and this is not? Well, very good question.
Like, what? What's up with the redundancy, dog? Like, just talk. What's up with you? That means he's trying to figure it out. This is called skillful stalling. This is called skillful stalling. That's it. That's all. Like, sir, sir, answer, please. Why are you telling me that's a good question twice? Just tell me it.
I'll tell you how I'm justified. Because I have reason to think that this is externally verifiable through supernatural fulfillment. Therefore, I am locally justified in thinking that this goes back to a prophet.
So basically arbitrary. The reason why I can pick and choose, because I think it's picking and choose. I think this better for me. That's basically what he's saying. I think this worked better for me outside of this, because I'm outside of this. So it worked. That's why. Because I said so. It's one big convoluted sophist. I said so. That's literally all he's saying.
Tradition has divine revelation, but I am not justified in taking everything in the Bible because not everything is externally verifiable.
Why is he lifting like this every time he talks? Like he's trying to push out a big old turd. What is going on? Relax. Calm down, sir. Relax. Chill. Why are you like just relax, dog? We all here. We see you, dog. We get it. Just you know, that pen is scared for his life right now. That pen is under stress right now. That pen is holding on for dear life.
Prophecy, because it is divine in its origin and its very nature, can be externally verifiable. So if I could verify a fulfillment that corroborates historical events, therefore I am locally justified. Thank you very much. You're buried. What else?
Oh, anyway. Thank you very much. You're married. Like, just they feed off of that. Like this, I feel like when they be doing that rhetoric, it's like them eating like what's the Naruto pills, whatever that gives them some type of like boost, like they more the sensu beans and all that. Like that's how they boost themselves. Like they just saying stuff just to say stuff and getting them more in his own, more and more in his own. Compensation. It's called compensation, bro.
Oh yeah, by the way, he says, oh well, Enoch quoting it doesn't mean Enoch thinks it's scripture. Hey buddy, Enoch says it's a prophecy. Did you forget that one? Enoch says that this is Jude says.
I don't say what? Huh?
Says this is a prophecy from Enoch. And he doesn't say it's from the book attributed to Enoch, the book of Enoch. He says that Enoch, the seventh from Adam, says. So he attributes it to Enoch. Thank you very much.
Jude says it's a prophecy? Hold on. Let me see. We can just, you know what I'm saying? We can just fact check. We can just fact check. No worry. No problem, Jude. Okay, yeah. Yep. No, you're right. Yeah. He does say that.
You're destroyed. Then he says, oh, Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, Punjabi Jesus. Hey, well, Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, he confirmed that the Quran is preserved and the Sunnah is preserved. This is not analogous. There's a symmetry breaker. Why? Because I don't affirm that your Bible is preserved, and I could demonstrate that from the Quran if you let me. I'm not going to have time to respond to everything. Unfortunately, whatever, man. I'll just go. He wants to take a liberal scholarly interpretation of Daniel. I'm going to crucify him on that when I have the time. He says, can you guys believe he said Islam didn't end Rome? Ladies and gentlemen, just quit. This guy is so desperate that he wants this. Oh, I'm not convinced that Islam ended Rome. The Christians are embarrassed. This guy wants to say.
So, like, Rome didn't get just ended, right? Like, what does he think the Crusades were about? You know, it's like, what is going on?
Say Islam didn't end Rome, ladies and gents. Wow, I can't wait.
So is he responding to any of this? Like, he's just ridiculing? He's just saying, what? He said that? Oh. Okay. Why is he wrong? This is your rebuttal time, sir. Sir, this is your rebuttal time.
To talk about that, man. Well, how did Rome end? How do you determine that? He wants to be a sophist today. Okay, just wait until the cross.
Ain't that the pot calling the kettle black, huh? What? Okay, all right.
And watch what I do to you. He says that the Hebrew in Daniel is olam. It's not in Hebrew, stupid. It's in Aramaic. You see, this guy doesn't even know the text. He doesn't even know that Daniel, the portion we're speaking about, is in Aramaic. It's not olam, it's alam. Okay,
that's time right there.
I get to you next time, man. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. All right, IP Mike Jones, you're in the seat again for your 5-minute rebuttal. And as before, I will start
real quick.
your time.
I'm just seeing my slides. Have you taken them down?
No, you should be able to take them down.
I thought I did. It's just.
There you go.
Oh, there we go.
Now
Okay.
you're there.
Perfect.
There you go.
Yeah, perfect.
All right,
Okay.
so I'll start your time as soon as you begin to speak.
At this point, you're probably not avoiding therapy because of stigma. You're probably avoiding therapy because you've become very good.
Probably. All right, let's go.
All right, thank you for that. Okay, so he said I gave no evidence. Again, he's the one who has the positive claim here. He needs to present evidence. And again, he still has not shown how Surah 7:157 or 61:6 is correct. So I guess we conclude Islam is false. He says I ran away from Christianity. Bro, this is the topic you wanted. Debate the topic. Stop running from the topic, okay? He said, okay, so he just laughed at the dilemma I gave him. He didn't even really try to address it. No, you need to actually address it. Why are you using books you say are corrupted to show your supposed prophet? And notice I said in my opening statement, you need to show your Muhammad, your prophet, okay? Because any prophet that our book is going to predict is going to be a prophet of our religion in line with our books. You need to actually show that. You just can't dismiss it. He said Genesis 17 gives a covenant to Ishmael, I think is what he was going for. Verse 21 completely debunks that. It says very clear the covenant's going to go through Isaac. Ishmael's only under the covenant through Abraham, in that he gets circumcised as part of Abraham's household. But so do all the servants. They don't have covenants either. The covenant is explicitly going through Isaac there.
Okay, so yes. Yeah. I think he said that there was a universal covenant and then a specific covenant with Isaac. I think that's what he actually said. And IP's right. Mainly, the covenant that God struck with Abraham is with Abraham and with his household, because it's with Abraham. It's also how we as Gentiles are under the covenant now in the New Testament, because we're being in Christ. And if we are in Christ, then we belong to Abraham. So Paul says.
That doesn't work. That not sure what he was getting at with that. Real quick, he laughed at my challenged him on Rome. Notice he didn't actually address the point. He still needs to give me a definable metric on how he knows. So don't just try to dismiss that with rhetoric. I know you were on TikTok live saying that 50% of debates are more rhetoric, but you're not going to get away with this with rhetoric. So don't think you can just dismiss it with confidence. You need to actually show that Rome was ended by Islam, because there's a lot of problems with that, which we're going to get into there. He mentioned Jude saying it was a prophecy. Again, you missed the whole point about Jude. Jude is not using that to establish the truth of his worldview. And you should also show that Jude is quoting Enoch, because there are scholars that do debate that. So you need to actually deal with that. So again, we still haven't actually seen anything. He didn't really address anything more on Matthew. He didn't really address anything more on Daniel.
This is what I'm saying, right? Like, his attack method is by scholasticism, scholarship, which again can and cannot work for him, right? Like, if we're just talking about like where you're grounding these things, you feel me? Is it just gonna be scholars? Was it gonna be an actual like historical attestation through the liturgy? I'm sorry, not liturgy. The historic church, the liturgical church. You know what I mean? That's where it might backfire on him.
He needs to actually get into it. And by the way, the Aramaic word is being borrowed from the Hebrew. That's why they're very similar. Not sure why you thought that was a gotcha moment. He said that he doesn't need to address the dilemma, because if he can show that the prophecies have been fulfilled and met, then they actually work. Well, no, you've not actually done that, first of all. And again, you actually have to show specific prophecies. They need to be very specific if that's what they're going to be. Like this guy's going to come and we have prophecies in our book that some guy's going to come and fix corrupted scriptures and his name is going to be Muhammad. We don't have anything specific. These are just vague associations you're running with. So you
I'd be basically teaching them how to debate. Just teaching them like how to debate, like what you're supposed to do to actually debate. This is how you're supposed to actually do this in order to win. Like, that's crazy. That's aura low key. Like, if I'm telling my opponent, hey bro, this is how you're supposed to beat me. Look, you're not doing it right here. You gotta like have your hands up, punch here, and then there, right? Make sure you keep your hand up when you're swinging so that you get a full momentum. That's what Bud's doing. This is actually insane. This is funny.
You actually need to deal with the main topic here. Stop trying to pivot towards Christianity. Stop trying to laugh away with your nervous laugh there. The issue about Rome, because I'm curious if you actually know the real history there. How do you know Rome ended by the Muslims in 1453? What metric are you using? I'm very curious. I've heard you say that, but I don't think I've ever seen you actually defend that well. But of course, no one has really brought it up with you. That's why I'm going to bring it up today. So we need to actually get into this. He didn't address my point about Daniel, the stone being different than the successive kingdoms. Because again, the successive kingdoms in the statue of Daniel represent earthly kingdoms destroying one after another. The stone is not doing that. So it can't be just another earthly kingdom that comes and then eventually disappears like the caliphate has been abolished. So that needs to be addressed as well. And again,
yeah, that's probably one of the biggest holes in that Islamic argument, is that the kingdom is supposed to last forever. Their kingdom isn't around anymore. That Ottoman Empire was done. It's done. Nobody's an Ottoman Empire. That's not around anymore. Nobody says, "Oh, yeah, I'm a part of the Ottoman Empire." No, dog. That don't exist. It's donezo. Scattered off. Got defeated. That's not supposed to happen. Along with the two sides for the feet in the clay. And he's supposed to attack the strongest side, which would have been the West. Which is also what Islam doesn't do, because that happened way before Islam even existed.
Again, it needs to be a permanent kingdom. Actually address it. Show, because it's completely unstipulated in Daniel 2. So we need to actually show that, not just assume it. So yeah, again, not much there to address. We still have not seen how Surah 7:157 and Surah 61:6 are answered in the Bible. So I guess those verses in the Quran are wrong at this point. And again, I still want to see how he knows Islam ended Rome. So I'm happy to go to the cross-examination now.
Hey, the sip off is crazy. He said, you know what I'm saying? I ain't really intimidated by your ass. I'm ready to beat your ass now. The sip off, ending with the sip off, I can see my time. And sip, bro. Who you feeling like? I be feeling like, bro.
Thank you so much for the rebuttals, the openings and the rebuttals, guys. So yeah, we are definitely going to get into the cross-examination now. So I must warn you guys, I'm gonna be pretty strict with this cross-examination, man. I will shut down a cross-examination if I feel that it's not going accurate, if I feel you guys are arguing, bickering, not answering questions, ad hominem and so forth. I will shut it down. I have no problem with doing that. So let's make sure we stay on cue, focus, and answer the questions that are asked of you, so I don't have to step in. I really want a cordial conversation because everybody else wanted as well. So with that said, this first portion of cross-examination will be a total of 30 minutes, 15 minutes each to ask questions. Make sure it's a question, answer. And once again, no.
Okay, we get into it.
Ad hominem, man. No disrespect talk to none of you guys.
Ding,
right?
ding, ding. They got
Just
it.
keep it straight and narrow.
Let's get it.
And then we'll follow it up with a 30-minute open discussion. You guys have built a hash out lingering.
30-minute open discussion. I don't know if we're gonna do all that. Man, let's squab. Let me see
questions and
this.
issues, all right? And so with that said, Orthodox Muslim, you're up first for your 15-minute cross-ex. And I will start your time as soon as you begin to ask your first question.
And before we begin, guys, if you guys have liked this debate reaction so far, like the live, share the live, repost the live. Let's get it going. Let's get more people in. Let's all enjoy the festivities, okay? Let's get it going. Let's get the live on TikTok to 50K. Live on TikTok. I'm sorry, live on YouTube. Like the live and share the live, please, for me, guys. All right, let's go.
Awesome. Is the Son of Man the most glorified?
Most glorified.
What does that mean? Off top. Off top. What do you mean most glorified?
What do you mean by that?
Can we describe the Son of Man as the most glorified human figure?
Is there degrees of glorification? Like, what is he talking about? I don't understand. Like, what the hell?
Sure. Yeah. What verse are you referring to? I need to know what specifically verses you're bringing up.
That's all I just from the cumulative case that Jesus makes in the Gospels about the Son of Man. He's the most glorified. Awesome. Now, according to German scholarship, according to Adela Collins, E.P. Sanders, Bart Ehrman, and Rudolf Bultmann, did Jesus speak of the Son of Man as a distinct figure from himself, coming, sitting on the right hand of God?
According to
Distinct figure from himself? What the heck?
the scholars, but not according to Mark.
Okay, according to that scholarship, did Jesus speak of the Son of Man as a distinct future figure who will sit on the right hand of God and bring God's kingdom?
So all he's simply saying is that do those scholars say that? That doesn't mean that it's true. Just because those particular scholars say that. This is fallacious.
As I said, according to those scholars, but not according to the Gospel of Mark, as Ernie admits.
All right, so that's a yes. Beautiful. So that's the scholarly position of those scholars. Beautiful.
That's a non sequitur. Just because those particular scholars say it doesn't mean that's the scholarly position. Because when you say scholarly position, that's like saying that's the consensus amongst the scholars, which is false.
It's one,
now,
yeah.
What does Ahmed mean in Arabic?
Most praised one, I believe.
Most glorified. So you mean to tell me that in scholarship, Jesus spoke about somebody who's Ahmed, the most glorified, as a distinct figure who will come in the future distinct from himself?
No.
This is about Muhammad in the Bible, not what these scholars say.
Can you answer that? According to these scholars, did Jesus speak about Ahmed, distinct Son of Man figure who will come in the future sitting on the right hand of God?
I thought Ahmed means altogether lovely. I thought that's what Ahmed means, altogether lovely. And when did Jesus do that?
No, they did not speak about Ahmed. They spoke about the Son of Man.
Did you say the Son of Man is the most glorified?
He is the most glorified in the Gospels. Yeah.
Does Ahmed mean most glorified?
If you say so.
Thank you very much. That's the debate, ladies and gentlemen. IB said
equivocation fallacy out the waz. Like, are we serious? What are we? Come on, IP. This is beneath you, dog. What? Just equivocation fallacy. What? What are you talking about? Is he holy? Is he spirit? The Holy Spirit. Like, come on, dude.
Says that Ahmed will come according to this scholarship. Thank you very much.
All right, are you gonna let me actually respond now instead of letting you let me respond because Ehrman says in his book when Jesus became. You gonna let me respond now? Okay, Ehrman says in his debate book, when did Jesus become God? I think you need to understand that for Mark himself, the author of this gospel, Jesus is the Son of Man. Jesus is coming back in glory. Those scholars you're citing are saying that the historical Jesus said the Son of Man was distinct, but that's not what is presented in the gospel. The debate topic is Muhammad in the Bible.
Yeah, I don't know why IP. I mean, I guess in the moment, it just is what it is. When he says most glorified, because that's foreign, like that isn't. I don't recognize most. Where does the Bible say that? I don't know what that's. I don't know that rhetoric, that terminology. I don't see how that's a biblical term. If those scholars said that, then that they're not saying a biblical term. And the debate is about Muhammad in the Bible. Most glorified about Jesus, or Jesus saying the term most glorified, isn't in the Bible. Like, what is he talking about?
Is Muhammad in the works of Bart Ehrman. So can you stay on topic, please?
Yeah, that's a non sequitur, but I'm going to deal with that because we don't have a lot of time. All right. Okay. So in John 41, does Jesus fulfill that?
John 41?
The term most glorified is not in the Bible, guys. Like, what?
One who ate my bread will turn against me. Did Jesus fulfill John 41, verse 9? The one who ate my bread will turn against me, according to John 12.
There is no John 41.
Sorry. Psalm 41. Psalm 41 and John 12. Psalm 41, my bad.
So Psalm 41.
Yeah. The one who ate my bread will turn against me. Typologically.
In a typological sense, yeah.
Does he fulfill the context?
So, guys, like I said this earlier in the debate. Jesus appropriates things that are spoken about in the Psalms to himself for a few reasons. The condition of the human man, and to fulfill the typological fulfillments of what happens to him when it was correlative to David who is also a type of Christ. So again, when Jesus isn't fulfilling that immediate context, of course not. It's talking about the appropriation, because that's what the Jews do. That's literally Jewish typological fulfillment.
He fulfills that typological aspect.
I didn't ask that. Does he fulfill the context?
I don't know.
He doesn't feel okay. Well, let me help you. In verse 4, the same speaker says, "Lord, forgive me, for I have sinned against you." Does he fulfill that?
Well, no, because he didn't sin.
Oh, okay. So Jesus fulfills a verse out of context?
I know he fulfills stuff typologically. So it's
Okay, is that out of
New
context?
Testament and reading it
Is
in
that
the Old.
out?
That wouldn't be out of context, because the type, if it's typological, then for that specific type, it's being applied. Typology is just going to be a correlation to this instant. It's not out of context. He doesn't understand what he does. Like, what is this?
Out of context. Is that out of context, though?
What is out of context? This doesn't make any sense.
Does Jesus only fulfill one verse out of the context?
Yes, because it's a typology. Yeah.
Okay, so
Fulfilling one verse doesn't mean it's out of context. Right? Out of context means has nothing to do with the matter. Psalm 41, that specific verse, has the same thing to do with the matter in which Jesus appropriates it to himself. A friend of David, whom ate with him, betrayed him. A friend of Jesus, whom ate with him, betrayed him. That's why it's typological correlation. Nardo, if you want to come up and get folded, I will gladly fold you. No problem. Because I guarantee you, Nardo, you've never read a single book, a single church father on typological associations. You don't know what any of this means. But you're just in my lap right now. Calm down. Okay? Zip him up. Okay. So Libiano doesn't understand these things. Like, this is literally what this is the historic church's understanding of this. So what is he doing? Is he doing a internal critique, or is he doing a external critique? Like, what's going on?
you could fulfill a prophecy out of context, right?
That's the first stutter, by the way. Now, Libiano said that he was going to make IP stutter. First stutter.
Type
On Libiano.
logically, yeah.
Beautiful. Now, the prophecy you make fun of in Isaiah 29, where the book is given to one who cannot read, saying, read this, he will say, I cannot read. The context doesn't allow for the Prophet Muhammad. But can
No, Nardo, you clearly do swing that way because you keep trying to climb in my lap. Stop. That's why I'm saying hop off of my lap.
the Prophet Muhammad fulfill that typologically? Does he fulfill that typologically?
If you're going
that
to
one
use
verse?
Islam typology, sure, but that's assuming Islam and then reading it into the
all
Bible.
right.
That's circular.
So the Prophet Muhammad fulfills Isaiah 29 typologically, and I'm justified in thinking that as a Muslim, right?
Within Islamic theology, sure.
Thank
What? That's what I'm saying. He's literally saying, if I'm being biased, then it worked, right? If I read into it myself for my own biases, then it works for me, right? Sure, okay.
Thank you very much. So he concedes
All
that
right,
the Prophet
fine, yes.
Muhammad fulfills typology. Nice. All
Yeah,
right.
if you're going to assume Islam and then
so
use
far.
that to read the Bible, sure, but
All
that's
right.
circular. If you want to do
All right,
that, you want to admit
beautiful.
it's circular, go for it.
Where is the prophecy that Jesus will be called the Nazarene?
So it's a typological fulfillment, I believe, in Isaiah 11.
Isaiah 11, right? Do Netzar and Nazarene, are they the same thing, or are they two different words?
They're two different words, sure.
They're two different words. Okay, and he only
Yeah, it's
fulfills that
typology.
because it's a play on words, right? And it sounds the
Yeah,
similar.
it's play on words. Matthew liked to do that.
Okay,
Jews at the time.
Just like house and house market are two different words. Doesn't mean there's not a correlation. Like, again, we understand that there's a 50 IQ within that community. It's no problem. Average within that community. It's statistically true, by the way. They don't understand word correlation. Different words doesn't mean there's not a word correlation. Like, what?
I
Okay.
like to do that, yeah.
All right, so let's go to the same prophecy you always make fun of. Songs of Solomon. It says Muhammadim or Mahmadim. Does that sound similar to Muhammad?
It sounds, yeah, phonetically, sure, whatever.
Okay, so
Nardo, you keep trying to climb back into my lap, bruv. Like, what's up with you? Enjoy the reaction like everybody else. Hop off.
So then that's a typological fulfillment as well, right?
That's not typology. This man is stupid. That's not typology because that's just etymological articulation. You're saying, oh, because the word itself says Muhammadim, right? Even though it doesn't actually say that. Therefore, that's a type when the verse itself that's being quoted has no correlation to Muhammad at all whatsoever, as far as what's going on or his anything, his countenance, nothing. They don't understand what typology is. It's so wild.
If you're going to assume Islamic theology and then read that into the Old Testament, then yeah, but that's circular. That's what that is by definition, dude.
So Matthew's being circular, right?
Yeah, that's actually what happens. Yeah, that happens.
Matthew is circular, ladies and gentlemen. All right, fantastic.
Sure,
is the kingdom of God monotheistic?
I don't know why IP said that. That was what? I don't know why. I don't know why IP said that. What is he talking about?
Sure, yeah.
Under classical logic, are there three gods?
What does that got to do with topic of the debate? What does that have to do with any of the topic of the debate? What's happening?
Depends on how you formulate it. And that has nothing to do with the topic.
Thank you.
Yeah, it does. You said the kingdom of God is monotheistic, so Daniel's kingdom is supposed to be monotheistic. Under classical logic, if we counted the same way we count everything else.
Oh, okay. So, tactic that Libiano's doing. Hey, no, and I can't knock him for doing this tactic, actually. There, when they first dropped the little LPT argument, whatever, when there was when Danny took them all to the back room, you know what I'm saying, and they did favors for Danny in order for them to get these arguments and teach them these arguments. When it first dropped, IP had said, under classical logic, the Trinity isn't compatible in the classical logic, but most people don't affirm or don't hold to just classical logic anyway, right? There's other schools of logic that are there, right? And classical logic is like kind of essentially outdated. Essentially, what it said. I'm paraphrasing, but Libiano is taking what he said previously and basically trying to hold his feet to the fire with that. Good tactic. It's tactic.
Are there three gods?
Depends on how you're defining identity. It depends. And this, again, has nothing to do with Muhammad.
I said under absolute identity, are there three gods?
Define absolute identity.
Yeah, like, no. Like, what is he talking about?
Identity. Give me a rigorous definition, because that's not a... What? Go ahead.
Under classical identity, are there three gods? Leibniz's law.
You need to define... give me a rigor...
Leibniz's law. Under Leibniz's law, are there three gods?
Didn't Leibniz articulate Leibniz's law to show that there's not three gods? Isn't that the kind of like the whole point of why he was even talking about it? So like, what the frick is Bomo Maid talking about?
It's irrelevant to the topic. This is not Tawhid versus Trinity. So can you actually keep on topic?
No, under Leibniz, I'm gonna ask again. Under Leibniz's law,
you can ask me.
Just say no, bro. Just say no.
But it doesn't have anything to do with the topic.
So you're not gonna answer? Okay.
No, it's not about the topics.
All right.
Show me Muhammad's in the Bible. What is this? What are you doing?
All right, beautiful. No, it is on topic because the kingdom of God is supposed to be monotheistic. Did you admit in a clip that if we counted using the CCM under classical logic and the primitive notion of identity, classical identity, would there be three little g gods? You admitted that, right?
No, because that's taking things out of context. That was according to how he was defining identity. Can you debate the topic and not try to bring up past things?
So under that, there are three gods, right? Under that regimentation of identity, there's three gods, right?
Depends on how you define it. I don't even remember the conversation.
It depends, guys. So there's a sense. There's a sense in which there's three gods. Thank you so much, Mike.
Does that make it now true, Libiano? Because isn't there a sense in which Jesus is Yahweh? So if there's a sense in which there's three gods, for Libiano, there's actually three gods. So then if there's a sense in which Jesus is Yahweh, he's actually Yahweh. There's a sense in which he's the Most High. He's actually the Most High. You see how the stupidity could turn back on you too. Look. This is crazy.
Michael Jones.
You can define identity in such a way that it just doesn't make sense. And then when you define identity in let me answer my question.
The kingdom of God
Sorry,
is God.
He doesn't want me to answer because he knows I'm going to show this is nonsense.
Guys.
All right.
Let me pause the time. It's extremely difficult to hear the responses to these questions when I understand, you got your energy going and stuff. Let's try to allow them to answer the questions, all right?
All right. Beautiful. The next question is, according to our 7th century Syriac texts, who subjugated and defeated Rome?
7th century Syriac texts. I don't know.
Yes,
I've not read
the
them.
the Khuzestan Chronicle. It's a Christian chronicle.
It's actually not a Christian chronicle, by the way. It's anonymous.
Syriac Christian Chronicle, and the letters of Ushayab III, which I showed on my presentation. According to what
Somebody that's not a saint, by the way, like not even acknowledged in the Eastern Church.
I read, who destroyed and subjugated Rome?
Well, they incorrectly would say the caliphate. Then they would incorrectly say that.
All right,
Because Rome still existed after that.
All right, Muslims destroyed Rome. Beautiful. According to modern scholarship and historians, who destroyed Rome?
Depends on who you're talking to.
Do you have any scholar who says that Rome wasn't destroyed in 1453?
Yeah. Edward J. Watts says it was destroyed in 1204 in his recent book from last year, The Romans.
Edward who?
Edward J. Watts, his book, The Romans. It's up-to-date scholarship.
On what grounds?
Better on what grounds? The same grounds your anonymous source has, dude. Like what? What are we talking about?
Do you know what happened in 1204, for example, is when the Latin Crusaders came in and they destroyed Constantinople, sacked it, set up the Latin Empire, and then Rome split into distinct factions. You had the Despotate of Trebizond, you had the Empire of Nicaea, the Empire of Trebizond, and even at the time, Constantine Lascaris said that this was basically the end of the Roman Empire. So it split into these distinct factions.
Oh, beautiful. According to Daniel himself, splitting into fractions, does it make you a different kingdom?
No, not necessarily, no.
Oh, beautiful. So Rome wasn't finished. Thank you very much. So under Daniel's view, who destroyed...
What? If that's the case, then they didn't destroy Rome either. What, bro? Hey, yo, this is insane.
Who destroyed Rome?
Well, then, no one has yet, because when the Western Empire split, it split in all these different kingdoms.
Exactly, bro.
Daniel, then yeah, they still exist.
Mike,
based on what you just said,
what
as
did
these
say,
distinct
Mike?
kingdoms that came... Are you going to let me answer?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Based on that, if splitting into different smaller kingdoms means it's still Rome, then by that logic, the kingdoms that came out of the Western Roman Empire are still Rome. So, okay, sure.
Yeah.
They're still Rome, according to Daniel, then.
Stupid. Dummy. He just conceded the debate, y'all.
Yeah. Splitting into smaller kingdoms was still attributed to the kingdom before that they are collectively a part of, according to Daniel. So, for example, how does Daniel consider that Babylon was destroyed?
I believe
how was
by
Babylon
the
destroyed?
Medes and Persians.
Yeah,
the
but
Medes and the Persians.
What's the metric? How was Babylon destroyed?
The Medes and the Persians came in, conquered the whole land, and set up their own empire.
Oh, conquering the whole land means you destroyed? Thank you very much. Did the Muslims conquer the whole land of Rome?
No.
No.
No, they did not.
The Muslims didn't conquer the Eastern Empire and that where Rome had no more land?
Well, they didn't conquer the western parts, no.
Exactly. If you just said, he's a freaking dude. Oh, he's an idiot. If you just said that splitting off doesn't make you not one country or one nation anymore, that means you have the West and the East as the one Rome. And if the Ottomans only took over the East, they didn't conquer all of Rome. But GG's, the debate is over. GG's, the debate is over. Your point is mute. Your strongest spear is destroyed. This is a wow. We still got 4 minutes and 50 seconds left. This is wow. This is insane.
Wait, you just said that Eastern Rome lost at its capital in 1453, right? Did they have any more land?
Well, yeah, actually they did. Because when the Ottomans came in, they didn't claim to end the Roman Empire. They claimed to just inherit the Roman Empire. And George of Trebizond said that Mehmed II was the real Roman Empire.
That has nothing to do with what that has nothing to do with. Are you saying that? Are you saying that the Ottomans were Rome?
They claim to be, yeah.
The Ottoman Empire is the Roman Empire?
You can laugh at it and make fun of it all you want. That's what they claim. They called themselves Kaisers e Rum. They called themselves Kaisers e Rum.
Roman Empire, ladies and gentlemen, man.
Like, bro, you gotta actually engage in what he's saying. Instead of just like you gotta take off sped mode. Engage in what he said. They called themselves that. See, this is why I gotta call people goofies sometimes, so they snap in it. They called themselves that goof. Deal with it, please.
Let me read a quote here. Okay, so this is from Crick Wickham of
No, you're not here
Europe.
to read quotes. You're here to answer questions.
All right, I'm just saying the Ottomans did not claim to end the Roman Empire. They claimed to become it. That's important.
They became Rome, right? Okay, Ottomans are Rome.
That's what they claimed. Yeah,
that's fine. Let's read this for you.
It's different than the Persians and the Medes and the Macedonians.
No worries, man. No worries. Here,
okay?
Let's read this for you. Here we go.
Right.
So, Edward Gibbons, let's see what he says. He says, from an humble origin, the Ottomans arose, the scourge and the terror of Christendom. Constantinople was besieged and taken by Muhammad II, and its triumph annihilates the remnant, the image, the title of the Roman Empire in the East. What is Edwin Gibbons?
The Roman Empire in the East. In the East, not the West. See, this is what I'm talking about, bro. I would have pressed them on it. I would have pressed that entire time.
Is he saying that Rome was destroyed by the Muslims?
He's an extremely outdated historian.
No, he's not. He's saying the East is destroyed. Not all of Rome. As you just said, a split still makes the thing whole. Like, bro, come on.
Possibly, but he's inaccurate. Yeah, very
okay,
accurate.
so according to this scholarship, Islam fulfills Daniel, right?
Well, no, because he said that Rome really fell in 476, and that was the Byzantine Empire.
Yeah, he says the remnant of Rome in the East, and according to Daniel, a remnant of an empire is the same empire. So answer the question. According to this scholarship, does Islam fulfill Daniel?
No, because the remnants were still in the West, and they had broken up, which you acknowledge were still the Roman Empire, according to Daniel. So no.
Thank you.
So what constitutes a remnant? Because you seem to be equivocating.
Well, you said it's when kingdoms split. So you said when Daniel talks about them dividing.
That's not what I said.
That's not what I said. That is what
you
said.
In Daniel 8, Alexander's kingdom splits into 4, but it's the same beast, it's the same animals, the same kingdom. They are just 4 kings from the same kingdom.
Okay.
Right?
Same thing. Same thing then.
Yeah, I'm willing to grant that, sure.
All right. Under what metric is that the case?
When East and West split and you had the Byzantine Empire and the Western Empire and their governmental provinces like that, what's the issue?
Well, they claim to continue his work. They were still technically of the same ethnicity of that Macedonian lineage. So you can make that argument there.
Sorry, having the same ethnicity means that, okay, cool. So
yeah. If you're of a nation, an ethnic nation, and you have the same ethnicity of said ethnic nation, you're part of said nation. Yeah. What?
Under the Medo-Persians, the Babylonians have the same ethnicity?
Under the Babylon, I mean, sure, but they weren't ruling at that point.
Oh, okay. So then the metric has nothing to do with ethnicity. What is the metric?
Bro.
Metric for the end of the... No, it does, because again, it's about who's ruling.
For the 4 split kingdoms, for the four split kingdoms being part of the whole kingdom, what is the metric?
I told you, it's so the rulers come in, they're Macedonian, and they set up their distinct empires and are still ruling as Macedonians.
Okay, cool. So how is that the case with the Roman Empire?
No, definitely not.
Oh, okay. So the Roman Empire was destroyed.
Well, no, because by the time the Byzantines were there, they were a different
Roman
people.
Empire
They were a different ethnicity. They were a different language.
Mike, is the Roman Empire gone today, or is it still here?
Depends on who you ask. Russia says there's a continuation.
I'm asking
of Rome.
you. I'm asking you, Mike. 'cause
Yeah,
I'm
I
debating
said
you.
it ended in 1204. So I think is the best way to set that date at.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Beautiful. So actually, that fulfills Daniel, because Daniel doesn't require Rome to be fully complete. It just requires that Islam is the next superpower. As you see in the statue, when the statue is destroyed, it turns into Shaf, right? It says that it was like Shaf, and the air came and took it away. So then,
But then
does
then you
Islam,
didn't destroy it.
let me finish. Does Islam come after the Roman Empire and weaken the Roman Empire and take more land than the Roman Empire did in 800 in 70 years than the Roman Empire did in 800 years?
No,
They don't.
because it didn't take it all, and then actually the Holy Roman Empire was the reformulation of the Western.
I didn't
it
say that.
outlived
Were
it.
they the next power block super empire?
Sure, but that doesn't fulfill Daniel then.
Oh,
Right,
okay,
that's
beautiful.
that right there.
How-
I mean, we can still say no, right? We can still say no because weren't there superpowers before Islam, the Ottoman Empire before Islam? Like what? There are the superpowers. Like what are you talking about?
That's time.
All right.
It's time right there.
We'll get,
All right,
we'll
Mike.
get back
You,
on that.
all right, Mike. You have 15 minutes to cross-examine Orthodox, and I will start your time as soon as you ask your first question.
All right, excellent. Okay, so when did the Roman Empire end?
According to scholarship, what I'm seeing, it fully ended in 1453.
What is the metric they use to say that's the end of the Roman Empire?
I'm not a historian.
Ah, Bray! All right, dog. All right, man. All right, bro. I am not finna do this. I'm not doing this. Not doing this. Not doing it. Not doing this debate, bro. Hell nah, bro. This is crazy. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? What is this? What is this, bro? Who little cousin this is, bro? Who little cousin they put up on the stage, dog? Man, can we get a real debater, please? Please, is that possible? This man said, I'm not in the story. I'm not a historian. What are you doing here? Why are you on the stage? Do you want to be here or not, bro? This is insane. This is actually crazy, bro. What is this? Let's just go.
It will spread. It will become a mountain and fill the whole earth. Now,
Shoot. I hit the wrong button. My fault, y'all. Let's get it back. Hold on.
Smart founders know something most people miss. Get your domain name even if you're not ready to launch your business. With
happened in 1453, Mike Jones.
This is coming up soon, guys. Only in a couple days.
Yeah, did that not reformulate?
Let's allow them
But-
please.
well, then the metric has nothing to do with ethnicity. Okay? Cool. Rome.
Formulation of the Western.
I didn't.
All right, excellent.
Scholarship, what I'm seeing, it fully ended in 1453.
What is the metric they use to say that's the end of the Roman Empire?
I'm not a historian. I don't know.
So you don't know. So the only
No, I
metric
can't-
they're
I
using
can't-
is
I can't- I
historians
can't.
say so.
I can't. Hey, yo, are you stuttering? I could have sworn Buddy said he was going to make IP stutter. But if I just play it back.
I don't know.
So you don't know. So the only
No, I
metric
can't-
they're
I
using
can't-
is
I can't- I
historians
can't-
say so.
I'm gonna start. I have to do remixes now. Now I have to do remixes. We got Halal. I forgot the little thing that she said, and a little beat she made. And now we better make a beat on him. Yeah. We gonna do it. We gotta do it.
I can't tell you what metric.
So the only
No, I
metric
can't.
they're
I
using
can't. I
is
can't. I
historians
can't.
say so.
I can't tell you what metric. I could tell you what I observe, right? But I'm not a historian, so I can't tell you what metric. I would assume it would be the end of their governance, it would be the end of their rule, it would be the end of their image, it would be the end of their system.
It's another stutter. Hey sir, hey man. Hey sir, hey man, hey dude, hey guy. Why are you stuttering? Didn't you say you was gonna make him stutter? Why are you stuttering?
Or
governmental systems and the end of their authority.
Didn't the Ottomans just adopt all of the key administrative structures?
It's been less than a minute, ladies and gentlemen. It's been less than a minute, but he stuttered like 6 times.
Let me finish my answer. Thank you very much.
Let's allow him to complete his answer.
Yeah.
Okay.
But according to Daniel, because we're dealing with Daniel, the conquering of Rome is that of the conquering of Greece, is that of the conquering of Medo-Persia, is that of the conquering of Babylon. And I see no difference between what happened to Babylon and what happened to Rome.
Did Muslims conquer the traditional land of Rome then?
Depends on what that means. What does that mean?
Italy.
Traditional land. Who says that's the traditional land of Rome?
Are we just saying F geography? Are we just say F geography then? One more time. Maybe I'd heard him wrong. Maybe I heard him wrong.
No land of Rome then?
Depends on what that means. What does that mean?
Italy.
Traditional land. Who says that's the traditional land of Rome?
All of existence does, sir. Come on, bro. What's going on?
That's where they got started. That's where Rome is.
I know. Yeah, so where they got started means that this is what it means to be Rome?
What are you talking about? What's happening? What? So because they got established there, that's where they at? So you telling me, so you telling me because they started there, that was their beginning? Oh yeah. So because the start is the start, that ain't the finish line? That's what you're saying? Hey man.
I'm asking, you said they had to conquer the land. So did the Muslims conquer all the land of Rome?
No, they didn't conquer all the lands. They conquered most of the lands.
Okay, thank you. So they didn't actually conquer the Roman Empire.
I'm answering.
I'm moving on. We're done. I need to move on to other questions.
You're letting me. I'm gonna answer. Thank you very much.
Hurry up.
All right. So the Muslims conquered what was left of Rome, the Constantinople, and that area of Eastern Europe. They conquered it all, and Rome was no more, according to what scholarship says. Yeah.
Did the Ottomans claim to end the Roman Empire?
Yes, they did.
No. Okay, well that is false, but we can move on. Yeah. What was one of the titles the Ottoman sultans had for themselves? Are you aware that it was Kaiser Rum, Caesar of Rome?
Yep.
Okay.
You're aware of that? He said first he was laughing about it earlier, but now you're aware of it now.
When the Roman Empire broke up, and the Ottomans conquered that, does that mean they conquered the Roman Empire according to you?
Broke up what? What are you referring to?
In 1204.
I'm not aware. I'm not aware what you're referring to.
Yeah, I know you don't know the history. What about the?
I'm not an historian. I'm not a historian.
The Western Roman Empire, did that reformulate into the Holy Roman Empire?
The Holy Roman Empire?
Yeah, did that not reformulate into the Holy Roman Empire?
In what year?
Under Charlemagne, so in the early 800s.
In the early no, that wouldn't be Rome that Daniel describes.
That wouldn't be Rome? So if it breaks up into distinct pieces, it's no longer Rome then?
Yeah, because it has nothing to do with the Fourth Roman Empire.
Contradict yourself? Did you not just contradict yourself? Y'all, am I tripping? Am I tripping? Did he not just contradict himself? He said earlier that if it breaks up, that doesn't mean it's not the same nation. So it broke up. That's what he said earlier. Now he's saying, if it breaks up, it's not Rome anymore. Hey, bro. Hey, yo, bro. This is terrible.
That is the beast.
Excellent. So when it breaks up, it's no longer Rome. Good. Glad to know we've considered
That's not what I said.
What do you mean? Is that what you said? What did you say to?
Rome then.
Yeah, because it has not.
Hold on.
In the early 8th, no, that wouldn't be Rome that Daniel described.
That wouldn't be Rome. So if it breaks up into distinct pieces, it's no longer Rome then.
Yeah, because it has nothing to do with the Fourth Roman Empire. That is the beast.
Excellent. So when it breaks up, it's no longer Rome. Good. Glad to know we've considered
That's not what I said.
That's not what it said. That's not what it said. That's not what it said. It's not what it said. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. By the way, another dope beat finna come from this joint. This is crazy. We're gonna have another dope beat. This is wild.
Mike Jones, that's not what I said. You said when it broke up and reformed in the 1800s, right?
No, he said 800s, goofball. Oh, he said 800s. They can't track to save their life. He said 800s. Charlemagne. He said Charlemagne. 800 is what he said.
No.
Anything,
Let me clarify. That's when the Holy Roman Empire ended.
You just said it right in the 1800s, but Rome.
No, I said 800 under Charlemagne.
Let me finish. Rome, when the western part of Rome was demolished by the barbarian tribes in the 5th century in 479, I believe, there was no more Western Rome. It was all taken over by the barbarian tribes.
So when they destroyed,
IP, you gotta press him on the mistake he made, bro. It's probably irritating me by watching debates sometimes, bro.
that means that's the end of the Western Roman Empire because they broke up into smaller kingdoms.
Sorry, say that one more time.
When that happened, that means that was the end of the Western Roman Empire because they broke up into smaller kingdoms.
Just the West, but not the end of Rome.
Okay, so when the East breaks up into smaller kingdoms, that's also the end of the Roman Empire in 1204, correct?
When you say broken into smaller kingdoms, according to what?
According to history.
Again. No, again,
they broke up into smaller kingdoms.
Remember,
different emperors ruling over different areas.
The Byzantine Empire was finished in 1453. Nobody disagrees. Nobody disagrees. Everybody knows that the Eastern Empire was finished in what happened in 1453, Mike Jones?
Ottomans claim to. So I'm asking questions here. So I want to continue on this. That's why the Western Roman Empire. Hold on, I'm asking questions. When the Western Roman Empire split into smaller kingdoms, you said that's the end of the Western Roman Empire.
What's the smaller kingdom?
So why would that be?
Meet One Track Jack.
Oh, you gonna make me watch? Oh, that's crazy.
He doesn't know that by focusing on one type
you gonna make me watch? That's insane.
Let me finish my question. Yeah. When the Eastern Roman Empire broke up into smaller kingdoms in 1204, why is that not the end of the Eastern Roman Empire?
What? Breaking up into smaller kingdoms means that the kingdom is finished?
That's what you just said. Ooh, that's what you said earlier, bro. Bro, that's what you said earlier, though. What are we doing, bro?
That's what you said about the Western one.
That's literally the opposite of what I said.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't. Put a dash between the T and the U. What's that gonna do? Hold up. Is he about to show us a hack? Hold up. Put a dash between the T and the U. Let's go. Okay.
into smaller kingdoms. That's also the end of the Roman Empire in 1204,
When did
correct?
Sorry, when you say broken into smaller kingdoms, according to what?
According
What's the
to
metric?
history.
He knows that the East. That's why I
The
just said
Western
in
Roman
14
Empire. Roman Empire.
What breaking up into smaller kingdoms means that the kingdom is finished?
That's what you just said.
That's what you said about the Western one.
That's not. That's literally the opposite of what I said. According to Daniel, breaking up into smaller power blocks does not mean that now the whole beast is destroyed. That's just.
Then that's what you just. Then that's what he's saying. Are you what the fuck? Is he tracking or not, bro? That's what he just said.
Not what Daniel says, and I
So
can
then
refer
you
to
would-
Daniel chapter 8.
So then you would agree that the Western Roman Empire continued as those other kingdoms and was never destroyed by Islam.
No, the Western One sec. Can you pause the time? My camera died, man. Hold on. One sec. Pause the time.
Dead like your performance. Your performance is dead, buddy. WL Gato.
He's getting his camera back together. I guess I'll go over some announcements here.
Is still.
But okay, so then for the East, are you saying that's the same thing? The continuation of that again.
So,
All right. Sorry. Carry on.
Okay, so again, if the Western Roman Empire broke up, according to Daniel, that would still be the continuation of that empire. Why would? Okay, so then for the East, are you saying that's the same thing?
Again, you're equivocating. The breaking up of smaller kingdoms is still a part of the bigger kingdom, that now where the bigger kingdom is now divided and being ruled by multiple different kings under different jurisdictions. That's
Beautiful.
not the same
Excellent.
as the Western. Can you stop with the ad libs? That's not the same as Western Empire being taken over by the Visigoths and being destroyed, and then the Holy Roman Empire now comes around. This is not the same at all.
So when outside people come in and take over the entity, that means that empire is ended.
That's just not what I said. You're not tracking. So I'm gonna repeat it. I'm gonna repeat it for you one more time. My metric and my standard is exactly what Daniel says. Daniel had Babylon. Babylon was succeeded by Medo-Persia. Medo-Persia was succeeded by Macedonian Greece. Macedonian Greece was succeeded by Rome. Okay, now if we go to Daniel 8, Macedonian Greece splits up into 4 power blocks, but Daniel still considered it to be the same exact beast, just split up. So the same metric that I'm using for Daniel is the same metric I'm using for Islam and the Roman Empire.
Then that means, Goofy, that you have to consider both the West and the East to be whom needs to be conquered, sir. You have to have both for Rome to have been conquered. You would have needed to have conquered both the West and the East, since, as you just said, Daniel states that a split does not negate it being a nation. Bro, this is so bad.
Great. So when the Roman Empire split up in the West, it continued on then by that metric, according to Daniel.
No, it didn't continue on because the whole Western Empire was demolished. And what continued, the kingdom wasn't finished. What continued is the eastern part, Byzantium, which continued for 1,000 more years. There was no more Western Rome.
Yeah, but you said that when it broke up, it's a continuation of the kingdom, like with Macedonia. So why isn't when the Western kingdom breaks up, it is just a continuation, and then it just reformulates as the Holy Roman Empire?
Because it didn't just break up, it just was destroyed. It was finished. There was no more Western Rome.
According to who?
Like I was saying, if there's no more, why we got Western Roman things then? What do you think the Crusades? How did the Crusades happen if there's no more Western Rome? What are you talking about?
What came later has nothing to do with the Roman Empire.
Okay, so if an empire breaks up into smaller kingdoms and then reformulates later, it's no longer the Roman Empire.
That's again, Mike. You're not getting it. and you're equivocating on purpose because you're getting slapped, with all due respect. So I'm going to repeat it one more time. Yeah, if you say so. So I'm going to repeat it one more time. The split in the West.
You know this crazy part? The crazy part of it is that it's IP is being really unfazed, like unfazed in totality, and it's actually getting to lesbianos. It's actually crazy.
And the East happened at the end of the 3rd century. Then at the end of the 4th century, or sorry, at the end of the 4th century, at the end of the 5th century, Western Rome is no more because it was consumed by the Germanic tribes. But what continued on is Byzantium. There was no more Western Rome. That beast was just Rome, and that Rome was identified as Byzantium and was continued to be known as Rome. And I brought you the sources, like the Syriac sources say. They make no distinguishment between West or East. They call Byzantium Rome, the same Roman Empire that subjugated them for 500 years until the Muslims came with victory and kicked them out.
Question. If they're calling themselves Rome, that makes them Rome in the East?
That's not what I said. I didn't say just because.
It's a question.
Asking a question. Can you answer the question?
Nope, it's not, but it's a part of it. Why? Because they were identified.
It's not, but it is. Are we serious? Are we really taking folks serious right now? No, but it's a part of it. No, but it is. I don't understand.
As the same Roman Empire, not a distinct entity.
Okay, so then is that the case for what happened after the those rump states of 1204? Were they still the same Roman Empire?
I'm not sure what you're referring to. Rump states?
When 1204, when the Latin Crusaders took over Constantinople and they broke up into the Latin Empire, the Despotate of Epirus, the Empire of Trebizond, and the Empire of Nicaea. Okay, which one of those is the Roman Empire at that point?
He knows the word Nicaea. He didn't know about any of those other words. He just heard the word Nicaea and he was, oh, okay. Oh, I recognize. I recognize something that you said. Okay.
No, it would still be considered Rome, just like in Daniel 8.
Which one?
What do you mean, which one? All of them were considered the same beast. Bro.
Okay, so they're
Daniel
all Roman
8,
empires.
Mike Jones, Daniel 8 considers the
question.
4 kingdoms that split from Rome to be the same beast. So if a kingdom dissolves or is governed by different jurisdictions or splits up into smaller parts, it doesn't make it a different kingdom according to Daniel himself. So according to Daniel.
So according to Daniel, when the Western Roman Empire split up, it would be the continuation of the Roman Empire, just like what happened in the East later.
Right. Thank you very much. The Western Empire didn't just split up. It was consumed. There was no more Western Empire. There was just Rome. And that Rome was just Byzantium.
So then if it's consumed by outside people coming in, it's no longer Rome.
Did I say that?
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. We just saw you. 4K. 44 kilohertz. 44,000 kilohertz, bro. Bro. Yes. That's what you just said. One more time. Let's go back. Maybe we tripping.
Byzantium. Empire didn't just split up. It was consumed. There was no more Western Empire. There was just Rome. And that Rome was just Byzantium.
So then if it's consumed by outside people coming in, it's no longer Rome.
Did I say that?
That's what I'm asking, because that's what you imply.
Yeah, so if it was consumed, there was no more recognizable Roman entity. It was invaded by Germanic tribes, had nothing to do with the Roman identity, the Roman image, the Roman governance, nothing. They were a distinct people with a distinct governance, with a distinct identity. A distinct entity came and consumed the western part of Rome. Rome continued to be just Byzantium.
So then, yes.
So then by that logic, when the Latin Crusaders came in and conquered Constantinople in 1204, that was the end of the Roman Empire because they were a distinct people.
Nope, because
whoa, hey, this is about to be a very crucial thing. If he says what I think he's about to say, the debate is over. The debate is over.
That happened according to you. They split into smaller sections of the same Eastern Byzantine Empire.
What? Oh, hell. Ah. Oh. Nah, bro. This is insane. He doesn't know what the frick he's talking about. He doesn't know what he's talking about. The Latins of the 1200s were not the Byzantine Empire, bro. What is he talking about? What is he saying? This is just stupidity out the waz.
And that didn't happen in the West at all. There were no entities still calling themselves the descendants of the Roman Empire. It didn't happen in like Spain, for example, or any of that.
What? When the Visigoths took over?
Yeah, they claim to still be a part of Rome, for example. Like that's not the same thing.
Show the source where the Visigoths claim to.
I don't have it on me, but that's just basic history.
No,
that
you just said sorry. You just said the Visigoths and Germanic tribes claim to be Rome. Where is that?
They claim to be ruling over Rome.
No, you just lied. You said they claim to be. Nope. You said they claim to be Rome. Where is that?
Okay, so I'm asking questions here, not you. Can we get back to this? So again,
Okay,
1204. Where
So
is the Roman Empire after that? Will you answer the questions across examining? Stop running, Libiano. Libiano, stop running and answer the questions.
The only one is running.
Answer the question.
All I'm getting is voice cracks and no substance.
Guys, moderator.
Pause his time, Marlon.
You're talking. Now I'm gonna stop the time here. I'm gonna pause it. Let's get it. Let's settle down a little bit. Mike, I'm gonna let you go ahead and rehash that question one more time, and Libiano, answer it the best you can.
Okay, so again, where is the Roman Empire in 1205?
Okay, guys. So clearly, Mike Jones got caught lying.
Oh my.
So I'm gonna repeat my answer again. The Eastern Rome, even if it's split into smaller jurisdictions,
It's not his question.
it doesn't
I'll reclaim my time. I'm reclaiming my time. You're not answering my question.
mean that the Eastern Roman identity was destroyed. And according to scholarship, mainstream historical historians, they say that Rome was ended in the 1400s. Okay.
Why do
Very
they say
simple.
that? Why do they say that?
You're quoting.
Why
what
do
you're
they
quoting
say
is
that?
Does there a time amount of time he has to like answer? Like he can just talk for 4 minutes straight? Like, come on, man. What is this moderation?
Cross-examination. Why do they?
Mike,
No,
hey, Karen,
no. I want an answer to that.
Karen,
No,
be quiet.
no.
I'm
Why do
answering.
they say that?
Karen,
Come on, Ben.
Karen,
Stop
I'm
running
on
from the
your
question.
period.
Stop running.
Karen is on her period and she doesn't want to let me talk.
Guys, let's chill out on the name calling and let's allow the proper conversation, guys. All right, so once again, go ahead and ask that question again, Mike. I guess the follow-up question, and Libiano, go ahead and answer it the best you can.
Once again,
Okay.
why do
So
historians say 1453?
I was answering,
Bro. Bro.
and Karen cut me off because she's on her
Didn't he just tell you stop doing the name calling?
menses. So
Man,
I'd
the
like to
insults, he's-
continue.
Man, I get desperate, man.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, why are you acting like the nice guy and you're ripping up Qurans? Please, don't give the nice guy act. Okay.
Show me one Quran I
Police
ripped
be
up.
upon him and Quran's being ripped.
Guys,
Yeah, don't act. Don't do the nice guy act.
Let's get back on track, guys.
Don't do the nice guy act.
Guys. Let's
Libiano is shaking in his boots. He doing all this just not to answer a question. This is so crazy. Like this is so wild.
get back on track. Mike, ask the question again. Libiano, answer the question the best you can.
All right.
Once again, let's stay on topic. Stop trying to wear the time down. Why do historians say the Roman Empire ended in 1453? What metric are they using?
I already answered this question. So as Edward Gibbon says here, here's the quote. I could read it for you. He says, from an humble origin, the Ottomans arose, the scourge and the terror of Christendom. Constantinople was besieged and taken by Muhammad II, and his triumph annihilates the remnant, the image, the title of the Roman Empire in the East. So the remnants,
so if that's true,
the image, the title.
Hold up, I
of the
gotta
Roman
ask a
Empire
question,
in the
man.
Oh, hold on. Catherine B677 says, many of us know scripture better than the church fathers. That's not a bad thing. We have their writings to look back on, compare, and draw a good conclusion based on all the evidence. Catherine, I'm gonna hold your hand when I say this. You don't know scripture better than the church fathers. Part of the reason why you wouldn't know scripture better than the church fathers is that you probably don't have all of the scriptures that the church fathers have or had in their time themselves. So let's just let's chill out on that, okay? All right.
We're running out of time. Stop trying to wear the clock down. If that's true, why did the title of Caesars of Rome continue under the Ottomans?
Okay, beautiful. So what Mike is saying, because Muhammad II, he says that he's the Caesar, right? That means that he thinks that he is a part of the Roman Empire?
That's what he claimed. Yeah, he claimed to inherit it.
Okay, beautiful. So if I say I'm the Pharaoh of today, that means I'm part of the Egyptian Empire?
Well, no, because you don't actually have a title or a claim to it. He actually had a claim to it.
Okay.
All right, that's it, guys.
Yeah.
Why is he answering a question?
So he says he's
guys.
Wait, he can't ask questions. Like, what is this? This is stupid.
Mike.
That's time right there.
That was terrible.
So, I mean, if you guys want to carry this one on, we do have 30 more minutes of open discussion, open dialogue now. So let me get the timer set here real quick. Make sure I get it right so we don't go over time here. And I'm not sure who wants to begin the open dialogue, but
sure, I have a lot of things I didn't.
I want him to keep answering. He's not answering my questions. I need.
Y'all want to see this 30-minute joint? Is y'all want to see the rest of this? Or y'all think y'all want to? I don't know. How long we in live? 2 hours, 20-something minutes. Y'all want to see the open panel? I mean, the open dialogue. One's in the chat if you want to see the open dialogue. Yeah. Okay. All right. Go for sure. Catherine. So. Catherine. Well, YouTube says they don't want to see it. TikTok says they do want to see it. So they just gonna let's tell you. YouTube. But yeah, Catherine, sweetheart, you don't actually know what you're saying. Citing one church father that gave a polemic about Jesus's age doesn't mean you know scripture better than the church fathers, right? Like as a whole or consensus. It's just false. Again, it's almost impossible for you to be able to know scripture better than the church fathers because one, you're not a bishop, right? It's not your job, right? It's not your job to shepherd a flock with the governance of scriptures. That's first. Two, you don't have a full canon. So it's quite literally impossible for you to know scriptures better than the church fathers who had or appealed to canonical books that you don't think are canonical. So again, it's a little impossible, you know? But all right, let's just get back to this because the fam on TikTok wants to watch, but the fam on YouTube don't want to watch. And because we still new on YouTube, the fam on TikTok is a bit bigger. So we're just gonna have to enjoy the ride. We'll get to the destination soon.
To know how he knows the Roman Empire in 1453.
We have 30 minutes, but remember, you said I didn't answer you when I had no time. You see how deceptive you are? You said, oh, he didn't talk about this and he didn't talk about that. So anyways, you said that in Matthew, let me address what you said. You said in Matthew, it says that God sent his armies. Unless you want to say that the Roman army is God's army. Interesting. Does God say that Assyria is the rod of his anger?
Yeah, he uses different armies, yeah.
Is it the rod of his anger?
Yeah, he uses different armies to allow them
so
to come
Assyria is God's arm. So Assyria is God's army?
That's not what that says. No, it's a rod of his anger. He's allowing them to go and do stuff.
It says he's the rod. Okay, so it's the rod of his anger, right?
Yeah, he's allowing that
All
to
right,
happen.
so the rod belongs to God, right?
Yeah, but his army is the angelic army.
Oh, beautiful. All right, beautiful. So then the
What? You're not
Assyrian
making
army,
sense.
that is the rod, belongs to God, right?
He allows all sorts of armies to do things, and then he
okay.
he says that he allows you to come in and do that. So what? That's not that does not show that's his
beautiful.
army.
Thank you so much, Mike. So when it says that God sent the king sent his armies, it doesn't have any insinuation of the army being people of God or polytheists or not. God is using them for punishment, and in that sense, it is predicated onto God. Why? Because Paul also says that kingship and everything in the world belongs to God. Everything is God's.
You're making
Therefore,
the
the
point for me.
Romans are
We don't
God's
take you're making the point for me. We don't take these hyper literal readings. Thank you. That's what I wanted you to say. You're right. Matthew
beautiful.
21 and 22 parables are not hyper literal. They're
Beautiful.
approximations of the kingdom of God.
I never said they were
I
literal, whatever that means. Okay. But again,
you don't have to say that. It's how you treat it. It's how you're going about it. You're going about it as if it's hyper literal.
according to these, that's just a misunderstanding. I never said that you are to hyper literal. I don't think that every little detail maps out into reality, but we have
That is literally what you think, because that's literally what you talk about with the context is.
no reason to reject the timeline that Jesus gives. What reason do you have to reject the timeline that's attested in both parables?
I told you, because the prior time before that, before the son and heir is killed, which I'm curious if you're going to try to argue that's John the Baptist, we'd only have to conclude prophets were sent twice.
Please.
Okay, and that does not map the Christian or the Islamic timeline. These are approximations, not accurate, not completely mapping on the reality perfectly.
How does that? So wait. So 1 second. So because it only mentions 2 sending of prophets, that means there was only 2 prophets?
No, there'll be 2 groups of them, according to you, if you want to take that hyperliteral reading of the timeline.
Oh, beautiful. But I'm not reading it that way. I'm asking you in terms of the events that happen. There's God assigns Israel. God sends Israel prophets. God punishes Israel. After God punishes Israel, guess what? God sends in the prophets to the Gentiles. Now you ask, well, why do we reject that this is not only 2 groups? Why? Because we have just.
Where does Matthew 21 say prophets are going to be sent to the Gentiles after? We didn't say that.
Let me finish. Let me finish. Because both parables are saying the same thing, right?
No, not according to you now. Now you just debunked yourself, because it doesn't say there were prophets sent after.
I didn't ask that. In Matthew 21 and Matthew 22, okay, in Matthew 22, does God send his servants to the alleyways to invite anybody he could find?
Immediately after the city is destroyed, yeah.
Oh, beautiful. Are the servants the prophets?
The servants don't have to be the prophets. The servants can be us, Christians, apostles, disciples.
Possibly. Or they could be angelic messengers. There's different scholars that agree.
Okay, beautiful. So then God does send whoever the servants are, which according to majority interpretations of prophets, how we know that? Because they are killed and rejected. So prophets.
So every servant is a prophet?
Let me finish. I'm finishing.
Every servant?
Let me finish. Thank you. So as we know, God sends holy people and prophets to his people, and they reject and kill them. Anyway, that supports my point. So after that, God sends them after 70 AD. Is that correct?
Is this a back and forth, or like does it get a certain amount of time, or is this like an open dialogue? Like, what are we doing?
He sends several people out after 70 AD. Sure, yeah.
Oh, beautiful. But you said he doesn't earlier, and you said, where does it say that?
No. We don't. I'm talking about a specific prophet who's supposed to come. That's not what these are about. This is about God sending out servants. Okay, you've been talking a while. You got to let me talk now. Calm down. Calm down. You're going to get to talk in a little bit. You have to let me respond. Calm down. Okay. Anyway, again, it says servants generally. Again, these are approximations. There is no mention of some future prophet after that is going to deliver a revelation. Why are you going these passages? They don't support your case. Or do you not believe in Surah 757 or Surah 61:6? These are not the
thank you
Muhammad.
Thank you so much, Michael Jones, for conceding that it does say that, because earlier you said it doesn't say that. Now you said, it says servants. Yeah, I agree. The Prophet Muhammad and the companions who fit who fit the description of servants were sent, and guess what? They were sent after 70 AD. So now let me ask you.
Immediately after 70 AD, because that's the way these parables read. It happens.
Show me where it says immediate. Show me where it says. Show me where it says
That's the context. If you're preparing, it's the context. If you're preparing a wedding feast, you don't let it sit for 600 years. I'm taking the hyperliteral timeline you want. We're going to go on that timeline. Has to happen in right.
Verse, please, Mike. Verse.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. I'll read it. Okay, so the king was angry and he sent his troops to destroy those murderers, burn the city. Then he said to his servants, the wedding feast is ready, but those invited were not worthy. So as soon as it's destroyed, he then says, okay, it's ready, go. So that follows.
Where does it say that it's immediate and has to happen right away?
It's in the context.
It's not. Can you show it?
Yes, I just read it for you, man.
No,
I don't know what to tell you.
Hey guys, I didn't see immediate or right after. Where does it say that?
Oh my gosh. That's an exact word fallacy, bro.
Oh, okay, beautiful. So there's nothing. You're just inferring that from the text. Thank you very much. Now,
that's what you're doing.
You said that Jesus was historically crucified and died according to the parable. Is that what you said?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And no. Wait, we're not moving on topic. We need to go. No. Hold on.
Are you gonna let me reply to everything you said?
No, this is not how this is gonna work, sir. You brought up a topic. I want to go back to the Roman Empire. You still haven't answered me. How do you know it ends? No.
Okay, guys.
Yeah. So
all right, guys.
Mike is running, man.
Let's reel it in a little bit.
You don't want to deal with everything else you said?
We don't want to talk over each other, guys, because everybody's trying to listen to what you guys are saying, man. So let's be courteous and let's allow people to respond, and let's allow people to get their questions off as well.
Beautiful. So
let's be cool.
Again,
good.
Oh my God.
All I'm saying,
you just wanted to talk about Matthew 22.
I'm gonna speak.
No, you're not going to speak. You just brought up the topic. We discussed it.
I'm going to speak.
No, you're not. No,
Mike,
you're not.
Can we be cordial?
No, you're not.
Mike, can we be cordial so we can have a conversation?
I am being cordial. We talked about Matthew 22.
Let's have a conversation.
Now I want to talk about background Daniel.
Why is this guy manifesting?
Look at this. Look at the gaslighting. look at the narcissistic behavior. Trying to steamroll, and then when he fights back, he's talking about something. Well, let's be cordial. Let's be cordial. Come on, bro. Knock it off. This is weak. Soft.
I don't want to.
Soft.
Have to keep interrupting, man. I want you guys to be able to flow, man.
I know.
And he's still talking. Why are you talking? Shut up.
I want to flow.
Okay, so let's try this, man.
He has all of these.
So the mod can't even finish this thing. Like, bro. Maybe I should start hosting debates. It's gonna be fair. We gonna make sure we got some order. If I host debates.
He has all of these that I haven't responded to yet. He thinks that he's going to get away with saying all of this, and I'm not going to respond to it. That's not going to happen. I'm going to respond to everything he said.
For sure. I think that's only fair. But we have to allow everybody to ask the question and then respond to the question. Talking over and stuff, it's hard to understand what you guys are saying. So let's try again. Go for it.
Once again, we just talked about Matthew 22. I still need an answer on how you know the Roman Empire ended in 1453.
We're
Stop
not
running from that.
Let me finish. You're the one running.
Okay, he's going to run from that. Because he can't answer me.
Let me finish, IP. You spewed a bunch of nonsense.
You've conceded Daniel now. Thank you. I'm glad you've conceded Daniel.
Can you stop talking while I'm talking? Thank you very much.
You've conceded Daniel. This is great. Go ahead.
We spoke about your gibberish nonsense. You said the Roman Empire is a Turkish empire. You should be ashamed of yourself because you're gonna be made a laughing stock. But remember, you said all of this and you uttered it, and I haven't responded to it yet. So let me respond to all the garbage that you spewed. All right. So you said that Jesus historically
doesn't want to talk about Daniel, guys. Just remember that.
No,
I'm afraid of that.
Oh, we spoke. All we've been doing is speaking about Daniel, but we haven't spoken about anything else. So can
you never answered my question. Let the record show you did not answer me on that. You did not answer me on the end of the Roman Empire.
Hey,
so just want everyone to see that you did not answer.
Guys, I'm going to be forced to cut this open dialogue short.
No. Don't cut it short. Just make sure that Mike Jones understands. Can you please pause it? Because the time is running and he's going to get away from this. Please pause the time.
Hold on.
Can you pause the time?
All right. Yes.
All right. Mike Jones made several points against me.
Mike Jones.
I didn't even get to respond to a third, not even half of them. We've been speaking about Daniel the whole time. You've showed that you're an idiot, that you stick to...
You're just going to let people insult?
Fringe positions.
Wow, listen to that.
I want to address everything you said. I wrote it down So why are you terrified of addressing everything you said? You thought you were going to get away with it? All right. So can we please
Sir.
get back to addressing everything you said?
No. That's not how this is an open
No,
dialogue.
we're
You
not?
brought up a topic.
okay.
Now I like to talk about a topic.
Wow.
If you're going to run on that, just say you don't
Wow,
want to talk
man.
about Daniel. You need to do more research. Just say that.
All
You don't
we-
know how
all
to
we've
answer this
spoke-
stuff on Daniel.
All we've spoken about is Daniel, sir. We haven't spoken
we talked about
anything
Matthew.
else. We
All right,
haven't.
guys.
Right.
Matthew
We just
for
started.
like 5
We
minutes.
just started talking about. We just started. And we have
Okay.
everything else. We have Psalm 74. We have Malachi. We have all the garbage arguments.
Guys, listen up.
Come on. Man.
If we can't dialogue correctly, I'm either going to put time bands on the response and answer. We're going to go back to old formal cross X.
Yes.
Or I'm just going to eliminate this portion of the debate and be done.
You should probably go. You folks that hate disorder. This is why I don't do. I might as well do panels. Just do TikTok panels doing that. Nah, bro. Showtime it. Give it time to speak. Give it time to talk. Order. Like this is what it is. Order.
Done with it. So let's try.
I'm
our
fine.
best. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, I'm fine if we just do 1 minute back and forth. If he's
Yeah.
not going to answer my questions,
Yeah, do that.
I'm fine doing 1 minute times through the rest of this.
No. 1 minute is how he's gonna run away with timing.
All right. See, he don't want to do it. He don't want you talking over him, Goofy. Like you need
Okay,
order.
so-
You have to be muzzled, unfortunately.
He's not gonna to run away behind the time. He's gonna answer these points that he spewed, right? And then we can get to Daniel. We've spoken about Daniel. You've asked the same question over and over and over again for
How many-
15 minutes. I answered.
Okay.
So
let me
I want
ask
to get.
this.
I want to get
Liviano,
back to answering everything.
Liviano,
else.
how many more questions do you have? How many questions?
No,
do you
brother.
have?
I don't. It's not questions. He made some points in his rebuttal that I never got to address, and I'd like to speak about them.
Okay. All right. I'm allowing you time to go.
we've been speaking about
hold on,
Daniel the whole
hold on,
time.
Hold on. I'm trying to address it. I'm going to allow you to answer. I'm going to allow you to address those current concerns. Mike, just answer the questions the best way you can, and I'm going to allow you some time. But then I'm going to switch over to Mike, and Mike's going to have time to ask questions as well. Okay.
Sounds
so
good.
I want to keep it as an open dialogue. I'm going to allow you your time, Liviano, and go ahead and ask your
Sure.
question, and Mike, answer the best you can.
Good.
Sure. All right. Can we start now?
Yep.
Mhm.
Go for it.
All right. You said Jesus historically was crucified according to the criterions that I used, and he died, and this is problematic for my position. How so?
Because if you're going to use like criterion of dissimilarity, typical historical criteria, you need to accept other facts as well. And that, for example, meets criterion of dissimilarity, criterion of embarrassment, and many other aspects. So why would you only use it for the parables, but not for an historical fact that all historians accept?
Oh, okay. Beautiful. What is my position, Michael Jones?
Your position is that these parables somehow predict the coming of Islam.
No, I understand, but what is my position on the historical authenticity of the crucifixion of Christ?
I don't know. You've not actually said it, but I'm curious. So why don't you tell me?
So how do you know that it refutes my position if you don't know my position?
Well, then tell me your position instead of just not saying it.
You could just say that the normative position of a Muslim is that Christ didn't actually die. Like we are allowed to say that, you know? Christ didn't actually die. He was taken up.
Oh, beautiful. So you don't know. All right. So so you said Jesus was historically crucified and died. My position is that's exactly what the Quran says in terms of the historical context. There's two claims the Quran makes. It makes a historical natural claim and a supernatural claim. The historical claim is that according to the attestation, people would have said Jesus died. But supernaturally, he didn't actually die, but he was raised. That's why the Quran says it was made to appear so. Now, Michael Jones, if the Quran says God made it appear
that's ad hoc, but okay, that's just ad hoc.
If the Quran, you asked for my position, you said this contradicts my
It's
position.
ad hoc.
Yeah, this is ad hoc because then you have to account for the other historical account where Jesus claimed to have been resurrected. How do you account for that? If we're taking historical accounts, there are historical accounts of people saying that Jesus resurrected. How do you take that into consideration with your paradigm? Just continue it on.
Position you can hold to it.
All right,
it's not
so
holding to historical criteria.
let's see if it contradicts. You said it contradicts, Mike. Don't run. The Quran saying it seemed to appear so. Would we expect anybody to say that he wasn't crucified if the Quran said God?
Right, but you would not expect people to say that he resurrected. That's the point.
God made it appear so?
We would say that again. That doesn't make sense.
If the Quran, open up your ears. If the Quran says God made it appear so, do we expect any attestation to say otherwise?
To say that he wasn't? Yeah, absolutely. His disciples were to reported it.
Yeah. His disciples were there and it was made to...
Libiano is asking, this is not really, Libiano is asking if the Quran says that basically people are going to think he died, shouldn't we see in history people thinking that he died? That's what he's asking.
Pierce, are you stupid?
So his disciples didn't know the truth. They weren't actually teaching Islam. They were teaching Christianity. Great. That's great.
Guys, hold on. Guys, hold on. Libiano, just chill on the ad hominems, man. Just chill, man.
All right,
you just have your conversing, brother.
Yeah. Calm your stupid behind down, goofball. Like, why you always like? Then you want to cry and get bent out of shape when folks return that same energy. Like, weirdos, bro.
Just chop it up. Just chop it up, right, man. That's all you gotta do.
All right, I got you. So Ibn.
Nah, see, I would have made him apologize. See, a petty guy like me. Petty guy like me, I need him to say sorry before we continue this, because he's insulted me 15 times throughout this entire debate. He needs to say sorry before we continue this debate. He needs to say, I'm sorry.
Taymiyyah says that we have no problem saying that the earliest followers believe Jesus died. You said, oh, you consider Christianity. No, because even according to Paul, the mere crucifixion doesn't establish Christianity. Christianity necessitates crucifixion. Crucifixion doesn't necessitate Christianity. So again, if God made it appear so, do we expect any attestation to say otherwise?
We would expect people that were preaching the beliefs of Islam, like the disciples, to say that he was taken to heaven.
That's not what I asked. I said, according to Islam, it was made to appear so. So, according to Islam, it was made to appear so. Do we expect any historical attestation to say otherwise?
Okay. So IP is saying, well, Goofy, if from the Islamic perspective, the disciples of Jesus were Muslim, then they would know this spiritual perspective. And that spiritual perspective is what they would have articulated historically, that he was taken up. That's not what we see historically. These Muslims, supposedly, they say that he died and was resurrected. That's what IP's saying. Libiano either knows that and he's just simply trying to avoid that, or he doesn't know that. Libiano's saying, dog, shouldn't we see people thinking that he died? IP's saying, yeah, but not the disciples, though. If they're Muslims like y'all think they are.
And I've answered you. Yes, the people that were supposedly preaching Islam, like the disciples, for example, because the Quran says the disciples were Muslims. So therefore, they should be believing what Islam teaches, and they didn't say that. According to you, they were deceived. The Quran is wrong, and they thought Jesus was crucified.
So, Mike, according to me, did the disciples think Jesus was crucified?
I don't know. You've not said your position. I'm curious if you
now you're
contradict the Quran, but go ahead.
You just said if they were Muslim, that means they were preaching that he wasn't crucified. Is that what you just said?
That would be what, that'd have to be the case, because that's what the Quran says.
All right,
Muslims supposed to believe.
It doesn't follow, because the Quran never says the disciples knew that he wasn't crucified. Where does it say that in the Quran?
No, it's no. It's not that it's in the Quran. It's the Muslim paradigm. The paradigm of the Muslim is that Jesus' disciples were Muslim. So it follows.
So they were preaching he was crucified.
They believed he was crucified, and that doesn't necessitate Christianity.
Okay, you guys heard it here. Libiano thinks the disciples were preaching Jesus was crucified. Okay,
that's exactly what Ibn Taymiyyah says.
People like Ibn Kathir under the bus, who said the disciples knew this. The disciples Ibn Kathir under the bus.
This is not responding. This is my position. Does this contradict Islam?
Yeah, it does, because the disciples are supposed to be Muslims. I just told you, you can believe what Islam teaches.
All right, what nullifier of Islam did they break?
They believe Jesus died.
Is that a nullifier?
Yeah, because according to you, the Quran doesn't say that. So they should be in line with what Islam teaches. And you just
God
Ibn
didn't
Kathir under the bus as well. Just remember
God didn't reveal that until the 7th century. So again,
Oh, so
what
he
is the
made
nullifier that
Christianity.
they committed?
So God allowed Christianity to be developed based off of a false pretense. God allowed disciples of a Muslim prophet to develop off of a false pretense.
Nope.
This is bad.
Because
Again,
crucifixion doesn't necessitate Christianity.
What? Buddy, that's like our whole spiel, right? Our cross is because of the crucifixion. All right, man.
Okay, well, you threw Ibn Kathir under the bus because he says the disciples knew what was going on.
That's not what I asked. Does the crucifixion necessitate Christianity?
It is definitely a necessary foundation for it. And the opposite is a necessary foundation for Islam.
Didn't ask that. I didn't say in Christianity is the crucifixion necessary. I said, does a crucifixion necessitate Christianity?
No.
Oh, so the disciples could have believed in a crucifixion and not been preaching Christianity, right?
That's not his freaking. Oh, he's so stupid, bro. It's just insane. If the disciples of Jesus were Muslim, then the things that they teach should align with Islam, i.e., the Quran. Since they don't, they weren't preaching Islam. And if they were preaching something that goes against the Quran, Allah made them uppermost on a false pretense, meaning Allah put forth the world's biggest religion that was false. I mean, this is just, yo, bro.
And they wouldn't have been Muslims. Yeah, sure.
Oh, really? Show me that in the Quran.
Yeah, because according to Islamic theology, Jesus wasn't crucified. And Ibn Kathir says they were in on this. They knew what was going to happen.
According
to you, they can't actually be Muslim because they're believing in something, a core doctrine of Christianity and not a core doctrine of Islam. Thank you for that. I'm glad you threw the disciples under the bus and admitted they are in line with Christianity.
According to Islam, one second, let me land here. According to Islamic doctrine, the disciples had to believe Jesus was crucified, and they're not Muslim if they didn't. Is that what you're saying?
They would not be believing in a core doctrine of Islam if they believed he was crucified.
Is it only a core doctrine after it's revealed or before it's revealed?
Well, it would have been revealed to them in the first century then
show me.
Well, hold on. Wait a minute. If it's not a core doctrine until it's revealed, does Allah's word change? Is Allah's word changing or is it unchanging? I would think it would have to be a core doctrine even before revelation, because Allah's word doesn't change. I would have to think that, right? Like what?
That in the Quran. That it was revealed in the
Wait a minute. So wait a minute. So we get this straight. So they were not actually preaching what is in the Quran. They were not actually preaching the. You got to answer the question, man. This is open dialogue. Stop running. Okay, listen.
Lana, answer the question. Lana, answer the question. Go ahead.
Dialogue, man.
Yeah. So
it is open dialogue. It is. It's open dialogue, man. Yeah. This is embarrassing for Bud, man.
So they were not actually preaching what the Quran teaches. You heard that from Libiano, folks. Thank you for that. I'm really happy to know the disciples were preaching a lie. They were preaching a lie according to Libiano.
Because the Quran says it was made to appear so. So the disciples.
Oh, okay. So they weren't preaching it was made to appear so. They were preaching he was. Notice that. They were preaching he was, not what the Quran teaches. You just buried the Quran. Thank you.
IP Mike also has to put forth the fact that they also taught he was resurrected. He has to mention that, because that destroys everything that Libiano was talking about.
you for that.
IP literally can't track. The Quran says it was made to appear so, and that was only shed light on in the 7th century. So before it was shed light on, because God made it appear so, it was so, right?
All right, it's time for me to ask questions now. Can we actually go
Right.
back because he's been rambling for like 10 minutes?
That's what I thought. Thank you very much. All right, you can ask your question.
Thanks for throwing Islam under the bus. I appreciate that. Okay, so again, when did the Roman Empire end, and how do you know it was 1453? What metric?
According to scholarship, it ended 1453. That's what mainstream historians say. I'm answering your question. Are you a historian, Mike Jones?
No, neither are you. But go on.
Oh, okay. That's exactly why we appeal to people who are experts, because we're not historians, right, Mike Jones? So according to mainstream historians, Rome was ended in 1453. But remember, Mike Jones, I'm not making the argument that according to Daniel, it must be fulfilled by the Ottomans destroying Rome. I don't even need that as a necessary condition, because all that Daniel needs is for Rome to be subjugated so much that Rome becomes not a world empire anymore.
Got it. So let's go on that. So the criteria now is what historians say. Are there any historians that specialize in Daniel that agree with your interpretation of Daniel? If they are now the criterion for determining truth, I guess we have to throw out your interpretation of Daniel then.
What's my interpretation of Daniel?
You think the stone is Islam, and no historians I can find say that.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's a good question. So when I appeal to historians on a specific point, it doesn't mean that I must accept the historian on every point. Why? Because I'm locally justified and independently justified by other means.
Oh, it's special pleading.
Because you and I have certain theological presuppositions that we could use to interpret Daniel that the historian doesn't have epistemic access to.
Great. So can you justify it ending in 1453, or do you just not know?
Yeah, according to mainstream historical position, it ended in 1453, and I have no reason to doubt that that's the, I have nope. That's
you
not
can't
what I
actually
said. I said I have nope. It just means that I have no reason. Mike, is it that Mike? Let me ask you this: is it the mainstream position that it was ended in 1453?
It's an arbitrary date set by historians. It's not actually based on an objective metric.
Didn't ask that.
Then the answer is
it the
no.
mainstream view? It's not the mainstream.
No, because there's no objective metric that they can use. You have to prove it. You're the one making the claim. This is about Muhammad in the Bible. We've been going for 20 minutes. You've given nothing.
And you're the one asking me about the Roman Empire. Now you don't want to talk about it anymore? All right.
No, that's what you brought up. Of course I have to talk about it.
So Mike Jones, according to this mainstream view, my interpretation follows, right?
No, it doesn't, because you're saying it's objective.
What are you doing? What are you doing, dude? What do you mean no?
Are you going to actually respond, or are you going to just try to wear the clock down? Come on. Stay on topic, bro.
Again, the response to your question was the metric that is used is that the mainstream historians say that Rome ended in 1453. I have no reason to doubt that hypothesis. Therefore, the hypothesis therefore is the case.
Now our metric is what historians have to say, what experts have to say. There are no experts that agree with you on your interpretation of Matthew. There are no experts that agree with your interpretation of Daniel. Therefore, you just threw your entire argument under the bus. You just debunked yourself.
And how did I answer that, Mike Jones, when you asked me about that just now? Or are you not using your ears?
You got a double standard.
No, I don't, because I'm independently justified by other reasons, because I have a different epistemology. Do you have the same epistemology as secular historians, Mike?
In some areas, yes, I have to. Yeah, because they use basic facts.
But not entirely, right?
No. That doesn't have nothing to do with the topic, though. But you said your metric for ending the Roman Empire was what historians have to say. Then when I say, great, let's use that metric for other areas, you throw it out. You don't even bring it up. So
it's hard. Guys. It's hard to understand when you guys are talking over each other, man. Let's try to center in on. Let's try to get back on the topic and let's focus, man. It's hard to understand what you guys are saying.
Yeah, he's not being consistent because his only metric for deciding the end of the Roman Empire in 1453 is because historians say so. But he uses a completely different methodology for Daniel. It's not a consistent methodology.
It's you just said you don't have the same epistemology. Are you not tracking? You yourself admitted that you don't share the same epistemology. So I am justified in saying that, look, there's this historical event, there's this historical evidence, and because of this historical evidence, historians come to that conclusion. I have no reason to reject their hypothesis based on my established methodology and my established epistemology. So I have no reason, Mike, to think that Rome wasn't ended in 1403. And Mike, you didn't address that I don't need 1453 for the prophecy to follow. Because according to Daniel, ending Rome doesn't have to be literally demolishing it in a specific metric that Michael Jones comes up with. All you need is, as long as it's done in the same manner that Babylon was done, Medo-Persia was done, and Greece was done. And remember, Mike, you said that
now?
What? I'm landing. You said it ended in 12 in the 1200s, right?
Okay, can I respond now?
Oh man,
you done?
The time is yours.
Let me respond.
Go.
Yeah.
Thank
you. Finally, I get to actually talk.
Thank you for asking permission.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Good. Perfect. Okay. So by that logic, you can't say Islam ended the Roman Empire, because when it broke up into other pieces in the West, they never conquered that. And no, they didn't actually destroy it the way those other kingdoms did. Because again, the Roman Empire broke up. It was never fully conquered by the prior kingdoms, by your own metrics that you are using. But you're not even giving me a good metric for 1453. 1204 is a more definitive date. But if you want to keep going, you have to conclude that the Ottomans are the continuation of the Roman Empire, as they claimed, or that the Holy Roman Empire is the reformulation of the Western Roman Empire, and that ended in 1806 when Napoleon destroyed it. So you actually need to show something here, because by your own metrics, they did not actually destroy the Roman Empire or take over it like the prior kingdoms did. So this doesn't work for you. Islam does not fulfill Daniel 2 by that logic.
Okay, beautiful. So you notice how Mike Jones didn't respond to what I said. Mike Jones, you said that it happened in the 1200s, right?
Yep, 1204, when the Latin Crusaders came in, broke it up, and then established their own empire. Yeah.
What's the metric?
So again, it's similar to what happened in the West. So
what's the metric?
Outside invaders, I'm telling you, outside invaders came in, they conquered Constantinople, and then it split into distinct kingdoms. The Latin Empire, the Despotate of Epirus, the Empire of Trebizond, and the Empire of Nicaea. Similar to happened in the West. If that's the continuation of the Roman Empire, the Western side continued on long past, and Islam never conquered it.
So Rome ended in the 1200s, right?
Yeah.
Okay, what ended in 1453? Because something ended.
Yeah, the rump state called Nicaea.
The rump state?
Yeah, the rump state that retook Constantinople, kicked out the Latin Empire, and so
what was it? What was it known as?
It was known as the Empire of Nicaea, and then they started calling themselves the Romans again.
Oh, okay. So it was known as the Romans, right? Byzantine Rome?
Yeah, the same as the Ottomans. They're known as Romans too.
Oh, okay, beautiful. So can you demonstrate that metric now that you use for the 1200s with the Medo-Persians and the Greeks?
No, because that's a different thing. They ended differently. That's my point. That's my whole point. That's my whole point, man. You're not even tracking with me. It's completely different.
Wow. Thank you so much, Michael
You don't
Jones.
get it, man. You don't get it, man.
The metric. I don't get it.
He's not.
Hey, man.
No.
Again, you're on your period again. So Michael Jones.
Wow. Listen to the insults, ladies and gentlemen.
Is the same?
Come on, guys. Let's chill. Let's chill on the insults. Let's just converse, man. Let's talk. Let's talk.
Why do you keep?
He's getting emotional, man. That's why he has to keep insulting me, man. That's why he's getting so emotional.
Wow, I'm so emotional, Michael Jones. Can we please get back on topic?
Poor guy.
You keep insulting.
Poor guy. Yeah. So the metric that is used for the 1200s, is it the same metric for the end of Babylon?
No.
Oh, okay. So Babylon didn't end.
It did end, yeah, when they were entirely conquered by the Medo-Persians.
So it is the same metric.
No, you're not actually answering my questions. Okay.
No, Mike, don't run. No, don't run.
I'm not running. I want to keep talking about
this. So this is the metric that you use for the end of Rome in the 1200s, right?
It broke up into smaller kingdoms. Yeah, very different than the prior empires.
All right, beautiful. Did that happen with Babylon?
No, it's completely conquered by the Persians, so it's different. So how do you justify the stone doing the exact same thing?
Okay, beautiful. So one sec. You're saying that the end of Rome happened one way, and that constitutes its end, but that very end, what constitutes an end, didn't happen to Greece and the Medo-Persians, right?
They were completely conquered by prior empires, unlike the Roman Empire. So you still haven't given me your metric for 1453.
Doesn't Daniel say Rome will be divided?
Of course he does. Yeah, 395. It divided.
Oh, okay, but it's not specifically referring to 395, right?
That's what you've been saying for years. Now it's not.
What?
That's a weird argument. So now it doesn't divide in 395. So you're not changing your
Mike,
argument.
can you answer the question, Mike?
No, you got to answer me because you've been saying that the split that Daniel talks about is 395. Answer that.
So I'll answer you, Mike. Yeah, I previously made the argument that the split specifically refers to 395. I no longer think so. Do you think so?
So then this is just proof that you're just making up this argument on your own. And there's no epistemic basis to actually make this argument. You're taking it out the side of your face.
Yeah, I think it's split in 395 into the Western and the Eastern. That's that the only fact?
And Daniel speaking about 395 only?
No, yeah, well, because you have two legs. So according to that, you would have two legs, two split kind of thing. So that makes actual sense.
What about the toes?
No, then you have to. Oh, so you want to include the toes? You want to include the toes? You do?
Wow, okay.
Great.
So you
just conceded the point. You just conceded everything. All right. Okay, so then, what are the toes of the Western Roman Empire? What are the toes of the Western Roman Empire?
Don't panic.
What are the toes of the Western Roman Empire?
Don't panic. Don't panic now, Mike.
Tell me the toes. Come on, tell me what the toes are.
Don't panic. The toes refer to different divisions and different kings, as Daniel 7 says. So don't panic.
There will be a division in the Western and the Eastern one, right?
Don't panic.
A division in the you won't answer my question, guys. You won't answer my question. Notice this.
No, you won't answer my question. Daniel doesn't specify one division. Daniel just says the Romans will be divided. Some will be weak, or one part will be weak, and different parts will be strong. Different parts will be weak. They'll be strong and they'll be brittle. All right. So according to this, I'm justified in thinking that the Roman Empire will divide, unlike other empires. So now, please tell me, because I asked you earlier, under the view that it ended in 1453, does Islam fulfill that interpretation?
No, it does not. And I'll tell you why. It's quite simple. Because they did not claim to end it. They claimed to inherit it and continue on that empire. So did Russia. So did the Holy Roman Empire.
Can you show me where the Ottomans said that they're Romans and they thought they're Romans?
Yeah, it's from, I was going to read you this quote earlier and you panicked and wouldn't let me. Chris Wickham, Medieval Europe, Chapter 2, says East Rome, from then on we call it the Byzantine Empire, not the Roman Empire. Although its inhabitants called themselves Roman until its end, continued on for another 1,000 years until the conquest of the last remnants of the Ottoman Turks in the 15th century. And then the Ottomans used some of the basic fiscal administrative structures of the Byzantine past in their own state building, focused on their new capital in Constantinople, now Istanbul. In some sense, then, the Roman Empire lasted until the First World War. So yes, you can also check out.
You just said, Mike.
Let me finish.
Mike, you said they themselves said that they are Romans, right?
He's running. Yep. Yeah, they did. Yeah,
they said they were Romans.
I'm going to finish. You won't let me, man.
Yeah, finish. It's okay. The time is finished, but you can keep reading. Go ahead.
Is the time up, Marlon?
Yeah. No, you can.
Time
it's okay.
is up. Time is up.
It's okay. I give him permission to keep reading the quote. And I hope it's going to say that the Ottomans thought that they were Romans, that they were the Roman Empire.
Yeah, they didn't think that, just like the Byzantines did.
All right, can you? You said you're going to read it. Can you read it?
Okay, I got 3 more quotes here. Let's just read this one. Okay. Crap, I just actually lost my thing. So finally, by conquering Constantinople, the seat of the Roman emperors, the Ottomans asserted the title of Caesar. They refused to address the Holy Roman emperors as Caesars on the grounds that there could be only one Caesar on earth. Thus, they addressed Charles V simply as King of Spain and his successor Ferdinand as the King of Austria. This is in the book Holy Roman Empire and Ottomans, page 3, by Mehmet Sinan Bertel.
Where does it say that? So where are the Ottomans saying we are Romans, we are the Roman Empire?
If you are Caesar, you are Rome. Calling yourself Caesar, bro. Like, what's going on with dude? What's going on with dude?
They're calling themselves Caesars of Rome. How does that not resonate with you?
So calling yourself Caesar means you think you're a Roman?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's typically how that goes.
Yes, it does.
All right, guys.
So you guys saw it here.
You guys.
Calling yourself Caesar makes you.
We're going to conclude. We're going to conclude the 30-minute cross open discussion.
Sounds good.
We're going to conclude it and end it. Many people are confused about
Yeah, ain't this supposed to be about Muhammad in the Bible, bro? So listen, guys. Is this it?
People thought you guys were being off topic. I think I was following in some way anyway. I'm thinking that you guys are attempting to try to argue historical points to try to show that Muhammad is in the Bible or outside of the Bible. I think that was the point of.
Yeah, I think this is it. All right, y'all. That that was and is our reaction to the debate between Libiano and IP on Muhammad in the Bible. Closing thoughts. That's my closing thought. Okay. All right. I mean, a lot of rhetoric, a lot of insults, a lot of just like stupidity, but Libiano really just had bravado. That's it. He just had braggadocio and bravado. That's really it. I wish IP had a little more oomph to match his substance, because he had straight substance. So I'll have to give it to him on that. But I know how sheeple the momos are, right? So since the momos are so sheeple, of course they're gonna in that lens view, they would think that Libiano won. But again, Libiano did contradict himself a couple of times. Like he contradicted himself a few times, 100%. But for me, when I'm reviewing it, Libiano conceded the debate when he contradicted himself, saying that breaking up an empire, like an empire being split up, doesn't mean it's conquered, doesn't mean it's ending. It's still one empire, still. But if that's the case, then the Ottomans never conquered Rome because they never conquered the Western Empire. Simple as that. They never conquered the West. And the West was never technically conquered then, since there were still remnants of the West calling themselves Rome, Holy Roman Empire. The debate was lost from there on out. And everything else is just rhetoric and insults. But good squabble nonetheless, you know what I'm saying? That's what we're here for, to review squabbles, and we squabble ourselves, you know. But I am going to end live on that. Guys, so yeah, our new live times or live days is going to be the weekends, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I think that'll be better as far as just for me to be able to be consistent, as well as using the week to be able to make content and things of that sort. If you are not aware, we have a new merch line drop. One body merch. One body merch. Truth meets defenders. This is our tagline for the One Body community. Got hoodies, hats, caps, shirts. You know what I'm saying? Cups. Go ahead and copy one. You know what I'm saying? Copy one. I'm copying me one. We walking the squad. So, it says some shiesties. That's crazy. I think about it. What else? Content definitely coming. We are about to be starting our cinematic apologetics soon, as well as clips from the previous debates. And I'm also looking for, well, we're gearing up to start debating the Filioque very, 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 very soon. There, we've been in the gym with that, so be on the lookout with that. Be on the lookout with that. So with that being said, I appreciate y'all. Thank you guys so much for your continual support. Thank you so much for those who are subscribed to the YouTube. Thank you so much to the Patreon members as well. You guys' Patreon support is crucial. If you haven't joined the Patreon, definitely consider joining it. We give out a lot of resources. That's where we call it the Noose. That's where we learn and study deeper things. I give access to my notebook LM, which is basically a study tool that I personally curated that ranges from church fathers to philosophy to church history to metaphysics to truly elevate your squabble prowess. You know what I mean? It's really the gym for real. So, that being said, I will see you guys tomorrow. God bless you all. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Be safe and see safe.